death. Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
I love lamp.
I guess what I learned most of all was that you should always take responsibility for your actions, unless you don't have to.
Man's got to know his limitations.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen. Michigan gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Yosemites. We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Soup for my family. Soup for my family. Medicine and medical and what we're doing.
Shop smart, shop S-Mart.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world known as the Mentatlity, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this pentamer?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this pentamer?
That did it? That did it. Okay, good. Sorry.
Bit of rushing around. Hold on. And I even have to shut my door. I didn't shut my door. Hold on. I was eating and running and doing all this stuff, and then I had to do this stuff, and everything, I'm doing stuff, and I don't know what to do. Hi. All right, we have, when it rains, it's probably urine at this point. I mean, I think we can all agree on this, right? First of all, I couldn't find the whole ABC thing all at once, so I might have to go link hunting at some point after this, but I was planning on doing that first and then going to the live press conference, but then they moved the press conference sort of up out of panic that he needs to come out, and say, he has to show an alien corpse at this point. This is the only, Star Trek Masons Unite, absolutely. Well spotted. So, this is lying his way through. Oh, yeah, I know. We're going to go to that live. You know me, I always prefer it live anyways. We'll do it live is sort of my motto. I have a full beverage today. Am I lightening my hair? No, I'm changing the lighting to look more natural. But thank you for noticing that my hair is actually brown. It always looks black in the stream because I have to jack the contrast up to make the green screen work. So between this and a little better lighting, this is what my hair color actually is. So now you know. But I'm glad we got the important stuff out of the way. There we go. And let's see where we are. And what's on the broadcast doc? Oh, indeed. Okay, so first of all, losing my headphone is one of those things. Hi, how are you? I don't know why these. All right. I'm convinced my left ear hole is bigger than my right. TMI to my on a Wednesday afternoon. All right. Let's go to this is a presser. Oh, it's depressing even. It's a depressor. That's what I call them. That's what I've called them. I'm gonna start naming stuff. I am not falling apart. I'm perfectly fine. I just need a little caffeine and we'll be fine. Norman, I am always in a good mood. Not because things are always good. No one lives under that illusion. Or not that I don't have challenges in my life, some of which are the kind of, how do we say it, peg the meter kind of challenges, let's just say. But I would, yes, Motang Clan. But I have always been gifted slightly with a sense of perspective. And yeah. What is our drinking word? Well, that depends. If you all want to die of dehydration, we could use the word reasonable. And if we all want to be, if I want you to be drunk within 3 minutes, I think fantastic is the word. Yeah. We're finding out way too much about people's ear holes right now. This is just 100% wrong. By the way, I would like, if you pay attention to the YouTubes or Twitch at all, you'll notice that my system of doing this kind of thing, it's catching on. Some of the other folks are trying to come up with programming, and they're just straight up ripping it. The only thing they have, and I understand, the format's not that hard. I position myself over here, have a little bit of green screen, I put it up there, play, stop, that's fine. It'll work great for the upcoming debates. I'm so excited to share those with you. Sexy Liberal is a week from Saturday, get your tickets. Monday I will be on Jason Charles Miller's, why am I saying Sean William Scott? Because somebody's old hand me. Jason Charles Miller's music show on his channel. It's going to be a great time. Links will come as you do. And DYT is great. That's hilarious. Is a great big turd, I would argue. But anyway, so this is apparently what I'm doing is very popular now. Mm-hmm. And I can't say I blame them. The only difference is, of course, is that they do not have the humor and the charm. They are trying very, very hard. You like the Young Turks? You mean the the people who murdered the Armenians. What a weird thing to like. Jimmy did not. No. I think it's part of his shadow work. No. All right, so here we go. Let's see how this runs today. God help us. And when does he come out? Oh, yeah, speed ahead to that. Hold on. Back up. We don't need to wait for all this. There's Kaylee. Her curious. Has the weather changed in D.C.? Or is when Donald does a bad town hall, he doesn't get to see shoulders? Is this the... It's a turd mentality. I almost wrote that, but I was like a little too on the nose, even for me. So here we go. He's going to be coming out. Expect the clickety-clacks of the cameras, because nobody's seen him walk through that thing before. Come on. There we go. Ooh, Mike was completely down in the White House feed.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon.
He's over it.
Yeah. Hurricane Sally made landfall, as you know, in Alabama and Florida.
Excuse me, that's Motang Sally to you. Motang Sally!
Last night as a Category 2 hurricane and has caused 35 inches of rainfall in some places. That's a lot.
Oh, thanks. I love when he plays weatherman.
We have hundreds of FEMA, Coast Guard.
Excuse me, it's a meteorologist.
We have the National Guard personnel on the ground assisting response to the efforts, and Alabama is in great shape. And every place that we are working with the state governments, really,
We are working.
in great shape. We are working very hard on that, but it looks like it's going to be mostly safe, but just follow the instructions of all of your local and federal people there. We have the best people that you can have. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for working so hard in Florida. And they're very good at this. The people in Florida handle it. They know how to handle it. And the people working there know how to handle it. The governors have all been...
So don't ask me any questions about how it works, is what he's saying. Do you think... by the way, I want to show you Biden's Q&A from the presser he did today, by the way, at the end of this. Because, seriously... just in comparison, and understand that these folks are running on the idea that Biden is mentally losing it and Trump is some sort of ubermensch in the true Nietzschean fashion.
And it's...
Are you the dude? Somebody's the dude. Hold on. Is somebody the dude? Wait, I don't want to miss that. Oh, it's in the wrong one. Damn it. I have too many sound clips. I'm becoming like Norman Goldman or something.
A combination...
There it is.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Of real spirit, and they have a tremendous esprit de corps. They have a tremendous...
They do have a tremendous esprit de corps, especially when they're looking for plasma.
A sense of working on hurricanes. They've gotten very good at it. And
oh, God. They have an esprit de corps when it comes to working with hurricanes.
We've certainly had plenty. Even since I've been here, we've had a lot of them. So that's in...
Yeah, so you're taking the blame for that?
Good shape, Hurricane Sally.
What? Excuse me. It's Motang Sally.
We're going to talk about Big Ten football.
Wait.
And we've certainly had plenty. Even since I've been here, we've had a lot of them. So that's in good shape, Hurricane Sally.
That's in good shape, Hurricane Sally. Okay, that's done. Crisis averted. I talked about that. Anything that happens after this point, not my problem.
We're going to talk about Big Ten football, but that's a terrific thing. We'll discuss that at the end. I just want to go into the vaccine distribution.
He's mentioning Big Ten football to keep everybody's attention.
Today, my administration released our detailed national vaccine distribution plan.
Oh, today you did? Really? Weird that Biden had that speech today and he actually had a plan for that implementation that they already released. It's weird. So let me guess. It looks exactly like it is, with Biden crossed out, with a Biden-Harris graphic with a Trump sticker over top of it.
And that includes a plan to ensure that we swiftly deliver the vaccine directly to America's senior citizens in nursing homes, and it's all set.
What if they're senior citizens, but they're not in nursing homes? Screw them, I guess?
We have our military lined up. Everybody's lined up. And we
Did you notice that he got the scourge pronunciation Woodward? I did, LEC. That was the weirdest thing when I was listening to the Woodward tapes, and Woodward says scourge. What the hell?
That's going to go very nicely. We're very close to that
I had to go watch All the President's Men just to get the stank off.
vaccine, as you know. And I think closer than most people want to say, or certainly closer than most people understand, to get
What?
the vaccine into the
Want to say? Here's what I want to say when it comes to the vaccine. I want it to be available as soon as it's available and safe. That's what I wanted to say.
hands of American people. We're fully mobilizing the awesome power of
Mobilizing
American industry and also our military.
By the way, for all of you folks that are like, you don't get on Biden for his word slips and stuff the way you do with Trump. Biden never claimed to have the best words. There's a reason I jump on this asshole with both feet whenever he screws up a word, even when it's not as obviously egregious.
Michigan gave us Motang.
As something like that, or
Yosemites.
like that's stumbling and not knowing at the same time. Even when they're not that egregious, I'll jump on him because this dude has been arguing that he speaks better than anybody else in the world. He literally goes, I have the best words and I'm all there, and points at his own head. So of course he gets more shit than normal people anywhere else. No other politician has claimed, he's literally like the redneck going, watch this, before he drives his dirt bike into the side of the barn. Of course it's funnier because you were supposed to be impressed. He was showing off. Yeah, and beyond that, Biden had and still deals with a stutter. Whereas Trump would, even if he overcame a stutter, he would think other people who still fight a stutter are losers. Like there is no depth. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
This is the largest, fastest, and most advanced vaccine distribution effort in American history by
You mean it beats pre-industrial smallpox?
far. I was reading where Biden was saying that he's going to have a plan. They did so bad on swine flu, you wouldn't even believe it.
I was there. Did we shut down the economy? Hey, Rob.
Look at their record on swine
Welcome
flu.
back.
In fact, the person that headed it up said it was a total disaster.
No, he didn't. But okay, keep at it.
We're on track to deliver and distribute the vaccine in a very, very safe and effective manner. We think we can start sometime in October.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sorry, I'm having a snack. That's it right there. We think we can start sometime in October. None of these have been cleared. None of them have shown full efficacy. There has not been the natural safety catches on it. The just ability to produce them. Your own head of the CDC is saying it will be late next year before everybody can get them. And saying we can start sometime in October is the problem because you have no idea.
So as soon as it is announced, we'll be able to start. That'll be from mid-October on.
Through the election, you mean? By the way, most people will have voted by then.
Maybe a little bit later than that, but we'll be all set. So as soon as it's given the go-ahead, they're doing trials, as you know, and as soon as...
I'm super excited for the MAGA vaccine ass punching that you're going to be doing. Just going down rows of people. They're just all going to moon him from that little dais, and he's just going to run by there. They're just going to throw him shots, and he's going to just cheeking everybody.
It's given the go-ahead, we will get it out, defeat the virus. We've manufactured all of the necessary supplies so that as
I was so happy a second ago, and now I'm already falling asleep.
soon as the FDA approves the vaccine, and as you know, we're very close to that, we'll be able to distribute at least.
Biden did not say not to trust a vaccine approved by Trump who advocated bleach injections. He said it's not surprising the American people don't trust him, and that's why you need a panel of scientists with with complete transparency. We'll get to that later because he talks about it during the Q&A. You want a panel of scientists and the standards by which they are making their assessment completely transparent to everyone so that you don't have to give a shit whether you like Biden or Trump. You can know whether to trust the vaccine or not by the science itself.
100 million vaccine doses by the end of 2020, and a large number much sooner than that.
No. Wait, what? Hold on.
I'm calling on Biden to stop doses by the end of approves the vaccine. And as you know, we're very close to that. We'll be able to distribute at least 100 million vaccine doses by the end of 2020, and a large number much sooner than that.
That's not true.
I'm calling on Biden to stop.
And by the way, the most promising vaccine requires 2 doses. So he's doubling the number to make it sound larger, but that's 50 million, not 100 million people. Great.
Promoting his anti-vaccine theories because all they're doing is hurting.
Yeah, they're the anti-vaxxers. Please start giving shots to maggots at every rally.
The importance of what we're doing, and I know that
what we're doing?
Medicine and medical and what we're doing. If they were in this position, they'd be saying how wonderful it is. They're recklessly endangering lives. You can't do that. And
you can't do it? Why not? You mean you're going to stop?
And again, this is really a case that they're only talking, just started talking a little bit negatively, and that's only because they know we have it, or we will soon have it. And the answer to
wait, do you have it or not? He basically gave away the game if he says we have the vaccine. Has he had it? Is that what he's saying? And if he is, why? Okay. By the way, where's Jared? What happened to all the people who got sick in the White House?
No, we have it, or we will soon have it. And the answer to that is very soon.
Or we used to have it, and then we forgot it. And then I left it on the dresser, and I looked all over for it, and then it was right there the whole time.
The case updates, it's very interesting to see what's happening because the test positivity rate is down among all age groups and has fallen below 5% for the first time since this whole nightmare of the China virus began. So it's fallen below 5%. The number of hospitalized patients has decreased by 43% from mid-July, 43%. Nationally, people...
Yeah, a bunch of them died, so they're no longer in the hospital.
Sick with the China virus now make up only 1.5% of all emergency room visits. So we're down to the lowest number.
That's because people are going back out and having car accidents.
We've had 1.5% of emergency room visits is for the China virus. And thanks to our life,
which is an enormous number,
saving therapies and treatments, I think this is the best of all in terms of our great percentages and all the progress we've made. The fatality rate has fallen 85% since April. 85%.
Since April.
5% fatality.
And climbing.
Rate. If you look at what we've done and all of the lives that we've saved, and I'm going to ask that a graph be put up. And now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Put up the graph, will you?
This was right at the beginning. This was our prediction that if we do a really good job, we'll be at about 100,000 to 240,000 deaths, and we're below that substantially, and we'll see where it comes out. But that would be if we did the good job. If the not-so-good job was done, you'd be between 1.5 million. I remember
the not-so-good job.
These numbers so well.
You mean Nazi good job.
And 2.2 million. That's quite a difference. So we're down in this territory.
Yeah, because the whole country, notice how he went towards it and all the the camera shutters. It sounds like a rattlesnake is hiding behind there.
And that's despite the fact that the blue states had tremendous death rates.
The blue states. You mean the ones with all the people in them?
If you take the blue states out, we're at...
Is that an option? If you take the red states out, the deficit in the goes away. Always. How about that? How about we erase the national debt by selling the red states? Since they take more money than they... No, that's not going to work with money? Oh, that's curious.
At a level that I don't think anybody in the world would be at. We're really at a very low level, but some of the states, they were blue states and blue state managed. And by the way, we would recommend they open up their states. I think it's very important that...
It just told you. If we don't do shit, we end up with this giant spike when we had 15 cases. Now we have 6 million cases, and we've managed through mitigation to get to that low point. But we think we should open back up so we get another shot at that big blue mound. You know, we want that mound.
Open up.
How stupid. Look, and that even says goals of community mitigation. That's the name of that frigging chart. What?
Their states. Because if you look at certain of them, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, we have to get those states open.
Why?
It's hurting people. It's hurting people far more than the disease itself.
No, it's not. See, the reason why the number of deaths are falling is because things are closed. If you open them up, the death rate will go way up with it. You see, you can't, it's kind of like we should get rid of the crime bill because it was terrible. But because crime has gone down since then, without recognizing that without the crime bill, crime doesn't go down. The rapes and the murders and that keeps going. You see, and there will be a confusion as to where things really are, and a friend will lose his friend's hammer. I'm losing my mind.
So we.
Life of Brian. Anybody
would recommend that you open them, let your people have freedom.
Freedom to what? Choke and die? Let your people have. They have freedom. You wear a mask because you're being patriotic and protecting your fellow citizens. Freedom.
And it's unfair to your people to keep them closed at this stage. We know the vaccine. We know the vaccines are coming, but we know the problem. We understand who the vulnerable are, which is primarily people with medical problems, but in particular, people with medical problems that are old.
Yeah, who's that? 60% of the U.S. population is obese or morbidly obese. 60%.
So open up your states. To facilitate routine testing of the nursing home residents and staff, we've delivered rapid testing devices to all 13,850 certified nursing homes nationwide. So you have 13,850 certified nursing homes nationwide, and they are being facilitated in terms of testing and testing apparatus. Everything is there. We also...
What? First of all, it's frigging September. It's the middle of September, and you got 13,000 testing systems out to nursing homes, and you're patting yourself on the back?
We'll have new tests coming, and we have one in particular that I think I showed last night, which is literal.
Did you or didn't you?
2 pieces of very fine cardboard. It's actually a lot of delicate things going on inside that cardboard, but it's an incredible test. It's very quick. It's very accurate.
You just take 2 pieces of cardboard and call me in the morning.
And
2 pieces of cardboard.
Moves along rapidly. We've bought millions of those tests, and
more millions.
They're going to be distributed rapidly.
Honey, I just got 2 pieces of cardboard in the mail. Well, rub them together and see what it says.
So the testing process, where there's nobody in the world that has it.
I can't. It's too fine. The cardboard is too fine. It's slipping. I don't understand.
Testing process like ours, in addition to being number one, number two, which is India, is close to 50 million tests behind us, I believe, Scott. 50 million. They have 1.5 billion.
Why are you asking a neuroscientist who's good about, whose entire job is looking at victims of stroke about epidemiological and pandemic questions? And secondly, why is he always near you now? Anybody? I mean, I know he's a Trumpster and all that kind of stuff because, I mean, Kim Jong-un doesn't have an anesthesiologist who isn't on the team, if you know what I mean. So, of course, this dude's a Trumpster. But why does Trump always have a neurologist nearby? Since his weird Walter Reed thing.
People. Tomorrow, Vice President Pence will be announcing the findings of the Nursing Home Commission to continue protecting our most vulnerable, which is our senior citizens, and we're going to take good care of them. I want to congratulate Big Ten football. It's good.
Oh, we've moved on then. That's all right. Okay, so it's mainly old people who are going to die, and that's it and stuff. And Pence is going to come out and talk about that tomorrow. Anyways, football.
It's back, and I want to, in particular, I've been dealing with him. Thank Commissioner Kevin Warren for the great job he did. We've been working with him for a while. There was a rumor being spread that I didn't want football back, and it was just the opposite. That was another disinformation rumor put out by the Biden campaign, and it was just the opposite, but it really spurred me into action.
Nobody thought that. Everybody thought you were rushing it. Are we now having conspiracy theories about the conspiracy theories?
I called the commissioner a couple of weeks ago, and we started really putting a lot of pressure on, frankly, because there was no reason for it not to come back. And Kevin went in and worked very hard. I want to thank the players, the coaches for working along, and they wanted it very badly. The players and coaches in particular, the parents also. And Big Ten football just announced, as you know, that their schedule, they announced a schedule, and it's going to be great, important to have. I want to recommend that the Pac-12 also get going, because there's no reason why Pac-12 shouldn't be playing now.
Or even or Pac-15, or even if you think about it, the Big 12, Big 16.
And perhaps they'll start with, at least partially, I had recommended today to Kevin and others that maybe you want to start off with 25% of the stadium. Or maybe you want to start off with empty. I don't know. If it's, I think they could have.
This is, by the way, this is leadership. That's it. I think you could start, maybe you do 25. I don't know. Maybe 10. Empty. Who knows? I mean, you could. But think shit through, man. You're the president. That's the whole point.
Fans go, frankly, but.
Frankly is going to be the drinking word at this point.
They want to be careful. They want to be safe, and they will be safe. They've got a very good testing process for the players, coaches, families, etc. And so I just want to congratulate Big Ten. It's going to be great. We're going to love watching that. And again, I want to recommend Pac-12. You're the only one now. Open up. Open up, Pac-12. Get going. Said the same thing to Big Ten, and they did. And now I'm saying it to Pac-12. You have time. You really have time right now.
Yeah.
Get going.
Go for it.
I want to thank all of the.
Yeah, who cares if your fans die? I mean, as you know what you could have is a scale and a BMI measuring device at all the stadiums, and if you're overweight or obese or whatever, they take your pulse. And you can, if you have an Apple Watch and it takes your heart rate and your blood oxygen level, and it passes a certain thing, then you're allowed in because you're not going to drop dead during the game.
Wonderful coaches, some of whom I spoke with, and we went through a process over the last couple of weeks, and I want to thank Congressman Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, who, as you know, was a great football player.
Oh.
Some people know that. I know that. But
really? You know that some coaches used to play football? Weird.
Anthony was a great player, great receiver, went to the NFL.
By the way, this is getting more time than old people dying.
Also, I want to thank Tim Pataki of my staff. He worked very hard on this, and he was up day and night working with Kevin and everybody else. So I want to thank Tim Pataki. Great job. So Big Ten is back, and it's going to have hopefully a great season.
Thanks for
The
subbing.
census recently found that in the second quarter of 2020, Hispanic Americans' home ownership reached a record all-time high. That's all-time in the history of our country. Yesterday,
Really? They don't do like 3 all-times?
the census
Hey, what was the all-time high before that? Because technically everything kind of builds as they go. So how many all-time highs as far as home ownership happened during the Obama administration? Do you wanna go look those up? Huh? All right.
reported that median income for Americans increased by an unprecedented $4,400 last year to a record of $68,700. In 2019, income inequality fell for the second straight year. The income gap widened under the Obama-Biden administration, and it
Yeah, if you include the crash caused by 2008.
widened fairly substantially, and it narrowed under the Trump administration. So as
Because they fixed it and got things back on track, and then you screwed the pooch.
a little fact that you didn't know. So it narrowed under us, and it widened under Obama.
Under Obama, it did.
Income grew more last year alone than over the entire 8 years of Obama-Biden.
What did? What grew? What are you bullshitting about?
Under us, and it widened under Obama. Income grew more last year alone than over the entire 8 years of Obama-Biden.
Yeah, that's because, hi, thank you. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll down it anyways. Thank you, my love. She brings me a beverage, and I already have one, and then I'm going to drink 2 of them, and I'm going to be awake all night, and I love you. Thank you. Very sweet. Now I have 2 giant beverages. We're going to have a pee break in this show.
And that's a big statement, but that's the way it is. And
First of all, it's a lie. Secondly, they include like all the food stamp stuff and all that that happened under Obama, which happened in the first year because they were taking over in the middle of a crash and they righted everything. If Obama had been able to grow the economy the way he grew the economy without it being set back by the Bush administration, no one in history would have touched his financial growth. 6,400 to 19,600 on the stock market alone. Use that as your barometer if you want to. But you know, the idea that more people were on food stamps or on SNAP or all these things or getting these assistances under Obama only is true if you count the first 10 months. And they got more people off those things in history.
2019, 4.2 million Americans were lifted out of poverty. That's the largest
14.
poverty reduction. And that's a big statement, but that's the way it is. In 2019, 4.2 million Americans were lifted out of poverty. That's the largest poverty reduction under any president in history. 4.2.
Especially since we had our Treasury Secretary lower the standard for poverty.
Million Americans were lifted out of poverty. The Hispanic American poverty rate reached the lowest level ever, history of our country. Hispanic American poverty rate, lowest level ever. I created
What was it in 2016?
the greatest and fairest economy in history, the biggest
What's the difference between where it was when you took over and where it went?
gains went to lower income Americans as they measure that kind
Yeah, that's not true.
of thing. We will be back
As they measure that kind of thing.
to full strength very soon. We're going to have a fantastic year next year. It's looking like that. I think you're going to have a
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Everybody on Wall Street is shitting the bed right now.
incredible third quarter. The numbers are looking very, very strong for the third quarter. We have numbers that we're going to put out tomorrow, some of the individual things. car production, housing ownership. So many different things are just at levels that nobody thought possible as we round the turn on the pandemic. The
used car sales are killing it.
Police crusade from the Democrats and the radical left, and radical left Democrats also, has to stop. The left-wing war on cops puts our officers in danger and our communities at very grave risk. Can't do this. Biden described the police as the enemy.
No, he didn't. He said that people perceive them as the enemy, but please continue, dipshit.
They're not the enemy. They're the friend. They're our friend. They're helping us.
They're our friend.
And if you go to, I just saw a poll just came out or recently came out where
the one where Biden's beating you on Law and Order?
African Americans by 84% wanted more police. They wanted safe neighborhoods.
Yeah, but they also want other services for when cops don't have to be called so that things aren't escalated. Right. Okay. And more training, by the way.
Phoenix last night, a federal officer was gunned down in a drive-by shooting. In L.A. this weekend, everybody saw that. This horrible human being, or whatever you might want to call him. I think him. They're looking.
Or her, we don't know.
All over. They're trying to find him. We're going to find out. We're going to get him. But in L.A. this weekend, 2 sheriff's deputies were ambushed and viciously shot, and they can never be the same. They're getting better, but they can never be the same.
Why not? Why not? I mean, I'm sure they were injured I mean, it was awful. The pictures were awful. And by the way, Joe and Jill Biden made statements of sympathy to the families, calls to catch the person who did it. You know, normal adult shit.
We stand.
No one is for this.
By our heroes of law enforcement, and we want to.
How many cops that have killed innocent black people are still working? Well, I think the Breonna Taylor situation is the one being held up by the AG that he recommended for the SCOTUS, right? That would seem to be the one.
Stop this horrible rhetoric and stop it fast. I want to ask Scott Atlas to say a couple of words.
Scott Atlas.
Because I heard Biden talking today about he wants to come up with a distribution plan, a distribution for the vaccine that we came up with. A couple of
He now works for AstraZeneca.
things. We came up with that vaccine.
You did? Just in your little lab or whatever? I'm surprised you didn't come out with in your gown dressed like Doc from Back to the Future.
Will be announced fairly soon, but
Scott Atlas.
regardless, this month, next month.
Yes, Scott Atlas, Dr. Bullshit.
In a level of time that nobody thought was possible because of what we did with our FDA in terms of streamlining it. I want to thank.
You mean pressuring them to push the vaccine through whether or not it passes safety inspections? You mean that? That situation? Okay.
Thank Dr. Hahn.
O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us.
But what we've done with the streamlining has been incredible.
Streamlining. Dude, you can't cut through the middle of the track, and you have to win the race, you have to run the whole track. No, I'm just streamlining, bro.
And very safe.
Just running across the infield.
Number one is safety, number two is speed.
Yes, Scott Atlas is a radiologist who specifies in brain and spinal problems, aka strokes and masses in the vascular systems of the brain and the spine. Why are they friends? Why is he always 10 feet away?
But you can have perfect safety and have much more speed, and that's what we did. We did this.
No, you can't have perfect safety and much more speed.
For more than the vaccine having to do with the China virus. This was also for other things. So many other great drugs are out there that would take 10, 12 years to get them approved, and we've moved those.
Tell us about those great drugs.
Schedules up a lot. But if this were Obama, Biden, this would have taken 2-3 years before you.
Yeah, Obama got the H1N1 shot in December of the same year.
At a stage where we are now at. So we're going to be very soon, and it's sort of funny to watch Joe Biden getting up and reading a teleprompter and saying how he would have.
Oh, was he reading a teleprompter when he took questions today when he was talking about RNA and the temperatures by which you have to transport these vaccines? Do you know any of this shit?
Done this. They had H1N1. He calls it the N1H1. It's H1N1. It's called the swine flu, and it was a disaster. And as I said, the person that ran it for him said the worst things about it. I mean, just they didn't know what they were doing. They quit. They had no clue, and that was easy by comparison to this. This is the most contagious flu or virus that anybody's seen. This is unbelievable.
Not a flu. It's been fucking 9 months, and you don't know?
Unbelievable how contagious it is.
You're still calling it a flu. And by the way, we know how contagious this is. You know how contagious it is. You knew in January, you told Bob Woodward how contagious and dangerous and deadly and how it kills old people and kids and a bunch of people, and it's terrible. And it could kill up to 5% of the people that get it. It just, 10 times worse than the flu.
But I watched Biden quickly as he discussed without knowing a thing about a distribution plan. And he said that we don't have a distribution plan, but we do indeed. Our military, we have everybody involved.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the Biden plan.
It's
just hold it up. Boy, did he just yank you out in front of everybody. Basically, look forward to this for the next, 46, 47 days, is Biden just making Trump just pony show every day.
Great plan, and it's a plan.
It's a great plan. I've read it through and through. It's a page turner. I gotta say, it's gripping in all the right places. It's like a Jack Reacher novel if Jack coughed himself to death.
And like no other, and we can start doing.
It's like no other. Yeah, that's not a good thing. There's precedent for distribution of these kind of things. It's like, why would you? It's like no other. I insisted on all the vaccines being distributed in dead cats. I mean, we pulled out all the stops. Everything is going to be stored underground. People are going to be driven out into the desert. There's going to be this kind of Burning Man show, and then you're going to get a shot, not in your ass, right over. Everyone goes right in their urethra. The aim is incredible. We're doing it with a sniper rifle.
I believe that
it's not like any other distributions like ever. First of all, we're not using trucks or helicopters or drones or anything. Everything will be all the vaccines will be distributed using Rambo explosive tipped arrows.
That we come up with the vaccine when it's done. We'll start that same day or the day after.
Or maybe the day after that, or maybe 2 days before, but we'll see, maybe the day after or whatever. But it's in the plan. It's totally, guys, there's like paper here. It's a plan.
Our military is very much involved.
Now, are the administration going to get the vaccine first? They may have already. That might be why Jared is sick.
And they deploy troops. These are the generals that do logistics and all of those things. And
yeah, all those things like logistics. Logic-y stuff. Dude, you have the plan in your hand. Cite it. Why does it have a clip on it? Why is it not in a folder? If it's in a folder, you could turn to the page. They could have pre-tabbed it for you that goes, this is our date of distribution. This is how we're going to do it state by state. We've been in contact with all the stuff Biden called for today, which is not in that plan he just held up. And they're never going to let you see until they can crib Biden's entire plan from him. None of it's in that. But if it was in a folder tabbed, so Kayleigh McEnany has a tab for every goddamn thing. She could literally have handed him one. We could come out and go, right here, if we're going to talk about, if you have any questions about any of the plan, I can run you through those points. How easy would that be? Seriously. But there is no plan. I will tell you, there are 5 printed pages of stuff and then a bunch of basically all the Fox News loves you stack of news that they put on his desk is just stuffed in there.
Over the country, and then ultimately, hopefully, we'll be helping the world with the vaccine, and it's very exciting. But maybe I'd ask Scott Atlas to come up and describe a little
Come on, Scott Atlas, Dr. Bullshit.
bit about that, the distribution plan in particular, because Biden acted as though there was no distribution plan, and we've been working on this for months, and it's ready.
Yeah, is it ready to go?
And Scott has really taken a hold of it and done an incredible job.
Wait, Scott Atlas just showed up like 2 weeks ago. Like 3 weeks ago, isn't that right? Like he hasn't been around all that long. And Scott Atlas sounds like a supervillain doctor. Scott Atlas shrugged, yeah.
Please, Scott, thank you.
Scott, and while you're up here, tell him who John Galt is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you smell burnt toast? I'm sorry, it's a force of habit.
And I didn't develop the plan. I'm just relaying
Yeah, we know. You just showed up.
information here.
Yeah, so if it sucks, it's not my fault.
But this is a plan that's a 57-page document that was...
Oh, 57 pages. That's serious. You know, when they tell you the number of pages, they have no idea. He was just sitting over there flipping to the end. How long is this? It's asking me to say, what can I say factually? There are 57 sheets of paper.
Every state today...
And not all of them have pictures. No, it's not double-sided.
And there's a different part of this that was given to Congress today.
A different part of this? You mean the general subsidy that actually has no bearing? And by the way, Trump is pulling his jacket. He is about to fart on Scott Atlas.
It was released by HHS. It's on the website.
Every time he pulls his jacket, that's him breaking wind.
And in fact, I thought it was covered actually by the media, so I don't think it's a surprise. But it's a comprehensive plan. It's a public-private partnership to...
Just reading the summary page. What does it say, right? What is this? Somebody hand me a... Is there a big type version of this one? That is the big type version. Oh, how big is it when it's normal text? 13 pages. Oh, shit.
Everything done in terms of logistics, the IT that's necessary to trace the first dose, because some of these vaccines are anticipated to be 2 doses.
Yeah, look at that. So your 100 million number drops down to 50 million. If they work, if they all make it, right? Because there's a kill level, you know, it's like CDs and albums, you know, there's breakage. Jesus. I am not an epidemiologist. I am not a Stanford professor who teaches radiology. And I was Zoltan in Dude, Where's My Car? And I know this shit. Can we, I mean, honestly.
There's tailoring, of course, by the states and their specifics, and there's an...
So they'll hem them the cuffs and stuff like that and give it, I mean, can they loosen it a little in the crotch? It's just a little snug.
Administration of the vaccine plan that will be done in over 51,000 outlets, including for particular attention to minority areas, over 14,000 federally qualified health centers. And as the president just said, within the first 24 hours of FDA's approval under an emergency use, we will have vaccines being delivered within the first 24 hours.
Yeah, to the White House staff.
And it will be done at virtually no cost to Americans.
Virtually? That's an interesting word.
Wait,
hold on. Virtually no cost?
The terms of the dosage, there will be is it anticipated that...
Hey, thanks for subscribing. By the way, twitch.tv/HalSparks. Thanks. Hi, how are you? Hi, Facebook. Hi, Periscope. Hi, Twitch. You guys are wonderful. Hi, folks hanging out on the new YouTube. Hello.
No later than January, all the top priority people will have received the vaccine or be able to receive.
All the top priority people.
vaccine. And so that kind of prioritization, which is the general prioritization done for all vaccines that are developed, particularly in a pandemic setting, goes
How many pandemic settings have you been in?
to the high risk
As the editor of the radiology manual at Stanford.
people, the people with other underlying conditions, as well as first.
You mean these 60% of Americans who qualify as having underlying conditions that they know of? Because that's the funny part of this disease, is that you may know that you have heart disease, you may know that you have diabetes, or you may know that you have comorbidities related to this, or you just might not. Oh, did he do it again? Did I miss it, Green Girl? Damn it. Hold on. Where do we miss?
For all vaccines,
Where is it?
is it anticipated
Touched his face.
that no later than January, all the top priority people will have received the vaccine or be able to receive the vaccine? And so that kind of prioritization, which is the general prioritization done
Yep, there it was. That was it.
for all vaccines that are developed, particularly in a pandemic setting, goes to the high-risk people, the people
some
with
flyaways
other
today. I
underlying
don't know why.
conditions, as well as first responders and people working directly in healthcare. And so that's going to be done very rapidly. Okay, thank you.
Very rapidly. I feel much better. By the way, look, those are his notes he made from the cover page. Can somebody with all those cameras in there, can you please get a shot of that bullshit? Scott Atlas had nothing to do with this plan. Why is he reading it? Is it because Trump can't read? Or that he hasn't bothered? Why would you not? Oh, God. Why, as president, would you not know? I mean, know. At this point, know your distribution plan for the vaccine when it comes. You may not know when the vaccine is getting here. You may not know which one it's going to be. But you may not even know the time arc with which it comes. But you can do the things you know you can do, which is get ready and have the distribution, no matter where it comes from. We got 3 points where it will be, made or manufactured. It will be, in liquid form. You could be all set up that it's going to be something that's injected, and find out actually it's an oral vaccine, so we have to do it that way, and it's going to be a liquid or a solid form. None of that. You don't know those things, but you do know your primary distribution network that you're going to be laying out. You do know what your Army guys are capable of. You do know the volume by which you can make it, if in whatever form it's coming. There are all these known knowns that you can deal with, and he doesn't know any of them. Honestly, if you're a Trumpster or a maggot, why does your guy not know his own plan? Why would he have to call up Scott Atlas to read the cover letter? That was very exciting. Do you hear that noise come out of his face? That's a really telling one. Listen to this.
Thank you. Good,
Thank you.
He sounds so confident right now. Listen to this.
Thank you.
This is gonna go well. My town hall was so awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, earlier today, Dr. Redfield confirmed that it looked like November, December, the first doses would be able to be distributed. But then he said that the vaccine for the general public likely would not be available until probably next summer, maybe even early fall.
Rich people will get it early. What are you talking about? Yeah, we know this. Yeah, Trump and his buddies, all the people who came to visit the White House, everyone Jared's already made a deal with. They're supposed to deliver it to the leaders of Israel, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, UAE.
Comfortable with that timeline?
No, I think he made a mistake when he said that. It's just...
I think he made a mistake when he said that. All right.
Incorrect.
Based on what?
Information.
Oh, we're going to review the town hall.
And I called him And he didn't tell me that, and I think he got the message maybe confused, maybe it was stated incorrectly. No, we're ready to go immediately as the vaccine is announced, and it could be announced in October, could be announced a little bit after October. But once we go, we're ready. As you know, Pfizer's making this, they're taking a tremendous financial risk, and they're
No, they're not. We're paying them twice.
spending billions.
We're paying them money up front to be ready for production, even before their vaccine is available. And then we, as the taxpayer, are paying for the finished doses. Pfizer isn't going to take this on the chin. Are you high? What are you talking about?
Of dollars on.
Yeah, poor Pfizer. What's next? You're going to tell me the Sacklers are doing us a favor?
Actually making this vaccine. They're in a stage where they're actually making it because they feel very confident as to the results. They'll be announcing
Yeah, you know why? Because we're paying them twice for it.
the results fairly soon. And no, that's incorrect information.
He was pretty clear in the way he
Yeah,
said it.
well,
and
I
what he
think so,
said.
but I don't think he means that. I don't think when he said it, I believe he
I think he was drunk, honestly. I think he was probably sniffing something, or he was, he had a little flask he hides, or, maybe he was just feet up watching Fox, eating fish delights. He downed a couple of uppers when he thought he was upping a couple of downers, and he got up from the bed too quickly and answered the question. Maybe that's what happened. So aren't you projecting a little bit? That's a nasty question.
was confused. I'm just telling you, we're ready to go as soon as the vaccine happens.
So when do you want to see it available? What would be a timeline?
I
that
would
you
say
Yesterday.
that we will start distributing it immediately.
But to the general public.
Guess what did happen to Kodak? So a ruling came out with Kodak that their paying the CEO wasn't illegal or whatever. So their the loan they got will stand, and they will use their chemical arm, which makes the developing fluids and all those kind of things, to start producing drugs, is the theory. So their stock went through the roof and then took a shit, and now it's climbing back up to normal. And the CEO is going to probably bail out.
The general public very shortly there. I mean, really to the general public immediately. When we go, we go. We're not looking to say, gee, in 6 months we're going to start giving it to the general public. No, we want to go immediately. No, it was an incorrect
Yeah, he's going to hand them out at rallies. Everybody's going to be popping these things like stummies.
statement. I saw the statement. I called him. I said, what did you mean by that? And
what did he say? Look at that face. What did he say? And I didn't actually call him.
I think he just made a mistake.
What did he say? I called him, and I asked him, and I think, he hung up on me, and I think he just made a mistake.
He just made a mistake. I think he misunderstood the question, probably.
He misunderstood the question. You mean when will the vaccine be readily available for the public?
If you were to put a timeline on when every person in America will be able to get a vaccine, what would that date be?
I think it would be very soon. I think our distribution process is going to go very quickly.
Right after your health care
I told you,
comes
we've
out.
engaged the military. We have a general who's in charge of all logistics, who delivers soldiers. He's a fantastic guy.
Soldiers. I hope he's not sending them through the post office, because I'm afraid that we're going to find that a bunch of soldiers were dumped in a parking lot in Los Angeles in the middle of the night.
To be fantastic at what he does. And we figure that's better than any company you're going to hire. You can't hire a company like that. And we look to do distribution immediately after we get the word that it's good. And I think they're having tremendous success with the vaccine itself. I think the results will be early and strong. The safety has to be 100%, and we're going to insist on that. And obviously, the companies are going to insist on that also.
So could you put an actual date, like January, February, March?
Scott, what would you think?
Why would you ask Scott? He doesn't know. Scott has no idea.
As I said,
Yeah, Scott, go stand on this landmine for me while somebody tries to push you off.
the high priority people will have in sometime no later than January. I mean, of course, it depends on when things are approved and the emergency
But what
use
about
is given.
I'm talking about the
I
low
understand.
priority people.
Yeah, I can finish. And then it's anticipated there will be 700 million doses by end of Q1. That's 700 million doses.
So, but
Made, not distributed, not taken. Are you going to get all the maggots? 700 million doses. So that's 2 doses for every American if it's a double dose, plus a kill level, plus or minus, not including children. They're probably not going to vaccinate kids as a priority, mostly adults by age going downward. This is insane. Hey, Noel.
That's on the Q1.
Dr. Atlas, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Q1, he said. Right. Yeah, that's the end of March, right?
It's one thing to have the doses, but we've talked to a lot of public health experts who say if this is happening in the winter and you have to socially distance, you can't have the packed lines that we saw during H1N1. You can't have packed auditoriums. You have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Wait a minute. Did he just fart? Did we catch that one? Did he actually? Wait.
Doctors offer these vaccines. And so that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Hey, oh my God. Oh my God. I was kidding. Oh my God. He straight just farted. I'm not. Oh my God. They got a different mic on him because of where he is. They're shooting her with a shotgun and it's right over his shoulder. Oh my. I can't. Oh my God.
Have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. You have to listen. I swear to Jesus, I am not adding a sound effect. You know, I joke about that all the time. I have to clip that. Oh my God. I am not. Look at him move. He moves right when it happens. Hold on. And I'm right in the line of fire. I don't necessarily.
Doctor's office vaccines. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know, doctor's offices.
Oh, I wish it was smoother because you can see him. You can full on see him move. Hold on. And he straight up farts. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, is it a zipping backpack? Oh, thank God. Oh God, that was so funny. The timing is just too perfect. Hold on. Let's go back. Oh God. It was worth the laugh, even if it turned out to be. Oh God. Wait, how do we go?
To handle negative 80 degrees. So these are challenges of storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Nope. That is not that guy doing it. That's Trump. No. That's Trump. That was absolutely, that guy was reaching for something right at that moment. This is not that guy. That is a fart. Trump farted. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
To space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know, doctor's offices.
He does it on the straight video. He does it right as he moves his shoulder. Oh my God. Oh God. is not the zipper. He goes like this. He goes like this, and then he turns a little bit, which just means that, oh my God, every time. All right, I wish this was smoother. Hold on, let me try something real quick. I want to try an experiment. So this is worth it. This is science. Hold on, let me put this over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the... let's see, how do we do this? Okay, I got to switch cameras. Hold on. Let me fix this. Is this going to be good? Why am I so orange all of a sudden in this? It's just the... Oh, it's this monitor. Okay. I keep judging it by each monitor. I don't know. Okay, so let me do this. See if I can do this. All right. Take this, hide the Safari bits, add this screen, and choose a browser source, display capture. This may make it smoother, and I've been wanting to do this anyways. So we'll add a source, and then, okay, and then we pick which one it is. Hold on. Right. Done. And then we, hold on, squeeze this in. Have to make this thing fit. I'm sorry to do a little bit of extra work right now, but this will be worth it once I do. I'm fixing the. I'm trying to come up with another way to use the display. That will allow me to show it with smoother video. I just need to, I have to, God damn it, this is so funny. Option. Bring this up. Bring this down. Come over here. This guy over here. Second. Whoops, stop that. Fixing, sorry, I'm doing current computer stuff here. I'll just switch it over and you can see what I'm doing while I while I do it. I have to, because my face will be blued out during this thing, so so it takes me a little bit to, you know, now I gotta, the computer's doing it very slow because I'm asking a lot of it currently. I just want to see if yeah, computer enhance. This is like me trying to, there we go, and we'll put it here, move it there, and then we come in here, and we move it. This is probably going to crash my system, but it's worth it. And if I have to come back online, God knows, we have to have the potential for the thing. There we go, and we'll go transition. Dunk. There we go. Now this might work a little better. So fingers crossed. Let's see if this makes it any smoother.
May not have dry ice to handle negative 80 degrees. So these are challenges.
Okay, so this is, okay, good. It's way smoother, right? Is it smoother, you guys?
Are you prepared to say that you can overcome all those in 3 months?
Yes, because
okay.
At least...
So, hold on.
So that's one thing. You can't have packed auditoriums. You have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know...
No way! I mean, come on. Come on. He moves right as it happened. I totally grabbed the video clip. Can't Stop Lying. If you want to just do your magic on that clip alone, it should be in the Twitch right now. Oh my God. Please tell me. I turned my fan off and still not here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the volume up as much as I can. Oh no, go back. What are you doing? I didn't want to do that. Go back, go back, go back. Quit. Go back. Oh, I gotta grab it again. It answers questions. It's easy because it's right where Wei Jiang answers the question.
And you know, you're welcome to read it on the web, but basically, yeah, all those things are not a problem really. I mean, if people know how to shop for groceries or go into a store.
Okay.
Is storing these vaccines, and since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Oh my God. Come on. He touches his chin and then he leans to the side and just pinches it out. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. So you have to listen because it's quiet. It's not quite silent, but it is definitely deadly.
Doctors.
Hold on. Wait, back up.
Space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines, and since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, God. It's not a zipper, I swear to God. This is an old man fart, and it's happening. And I keep looking to check to see if that dude is over there making any kind of... Oh, God. Hold on. I got to move this over here. 1 second. All right, now...
Doctors' offices may not have dry ice to handle negative 80.
Oh, yeah, like I said, he farts when he pulls his jacket, and this one was him doing this, and then he just turned a little at...
Soup for my family.
Oh my God. Trump farted, Trump farted, Trump farted. Hold on 1 second. I have to go do something. Okay, I'm doing this immediately. 1 second. 2 minutes ago, where are we? Here we go. See if this comes up. Does this work? Hold on. I have to see if this whole thing... you might get some audio overlap, and I'm just seeing something right now. Right? Is it smoother, you guys?
Are you prepared to say that you can overcome all those in 3 months?
Yes, because
okay.
At least...
So, hold on.
So that's one thing. You can't have packed auditoriums. You have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines, and since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
We got it. Okay, I have to do this. Oh, God. Give me a second. I have to. That's so funny. Oh yeah, I'm triggering some of my effects doing this. Oh, God. I mean, honestly, nobody's like... Hold on. Give me a second. I have to do this work. We have to send this one out immediately because nobody's going to believe me. This is just crazy. Everybody's going to think I did this, so everybody's going to have to go back. They're going to have to watch for themselves. This is the White House's own stream. I just tweeted it, so please share it if you see it. See, this is why you do the whole thing. This is why you don't just grab the clips that the news gives you and put it out. Because we would, it takes days for them to figure out Motang and all the other stuff that I grab immediately. And then this one is, nobody else spotted that. Nobody. Please. Oh, God. Oh, I appreciate you noticing the brain candy reference. That's great. Very few people know that. It's an amazing film. I got to see the director's cut when I was living in Toronto, and they should have left it because Kelly Macon's a genius. Oh, God. Allegedly. I'm standing by that. And I feel bad for everyone who's downwind from it. Please tell me that, you're gonna have him tweet out a picture of this, Philly cheesesteak and go, "Thanks, Philadelphia," and then have him not fart when he's standing for an hour? How old do you think this dude is? Are there teleprompters in front of the Trump on the desk? That's a timer. So, they basically only give him a limited amount of time and then he leaves. I think it's based on how long it takes for his drugs to take effect and when they start wearing off. Oh my God. I will, Sarpus. Oh God. All right, one more time and we move ahead. Oh God. Just because I got to let this one run, and people are I'm holding my hands up, so you don't see anything. I'm just gonna play it straight through. There's no sound effect, nothing added. We're watching this live. Oh wait, hold on.
You can't have the packed lines that we saw during H1N1. You can't have packed auditoriums. You have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, doctors' offices may not have dry ice to handle negative 80 degrees. So these are challenges. Are you...
Please, come on. Come on. Come on. Get out of here. That was a man farting. He moved right when he did it. This is... That's a stress fart. Oh, God. Oh, God. I cannot... Oh my God. That's proof. I did not. Hands up. This is a live show. I didn't do shit. He might have.
Space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, doctors' offices may not have dry ice to handle negative 80 degrees. So these are challenges.
God.
Are you prepared to say that you can overcome all?
Okay, look, I know I put in fart sound effects for him because he's a disgusting slob all the time. But that's live. That is live. We can honestly take the rest of the day off at this point. my God. Oh, this just, never, we have 300. This is what makes me grow on Twitch. How telling. No, the white guy is not pulling a zipper. I'm telling you. He reaches over just as it happens. It's totally smooth. I checked. You want to watch it again? You want to call it? You want to?
Which one is the winner? You know,
that dude is he's not doing anything close to zipping a zipper. He's lifting something up. Trump absolutely twists and squeezes that off. Please.
Storing these vaccines, and since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
He absolutely farted. The only reason they hear that is because they're using a shotgun mic from the stage to listen to her. It's pointed at the front row. That's how they hear the reporters. And Trump is between her and it, essentially, and just farts right there. And you wouldn't even hear the guy's bag behind there. And please, show me another angle of that dude. And I bet, I mean, come on. Oh, God. No. Yeah. It would not get line of sight for the bag, not with that kind of clarity. Please. This is a brooder fart. Oh, how am I supposed to get back on track after this? Oh, God. He twists right at it. He totally clumps it. He tries to do a one-cheek sneak while everyone else is distracted. But you can't do those standing up. You'll get busted. Yes, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. You have to lean into it. Oh, God. I'm amazed I caught it too. It just seems so obvious. And I'm so used to because he did his little face touch and then he did the twist. I was half in my head, I was like, I should throw a fart in there as a joke. And then he just went ahead and farted. Oh, God. Whew. I gotta walk this one off for a second. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, God. Please, God, please let them have, I'm dying over here. Please let them have waist-high shotgun mics for the debates. Please. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. I could hear it on my crappy phone. Oh. Oh, God. Okay, we got to move on. I can't. Oh. Whew. Oh, God, that was beautiful. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Please. Oh. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. I'm going to go pass out. Voila! 324 people in here. Look at that. Look at the crowd that the president's wind. You know, I jokingly call maggots fart sniffers, but that may account for some of the people who are showing up to see this one. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ooh, I can't. Oof.
Doctor's offices may not have dry
He might need to go to the doctor's office. Like,
ice to handle negative 80 degrees. So these are challenges. Are you prepared to say that you can overcome all those in 3 months?
oh, by the way, Wei Jiang is the shit. She's awesome.
Yes, because at least I've been briefed on the vaccine, okay? And so all the refrigerators that are...
I can't even think about this anymore. This is so...
necessary. Everything is going to be in place for this. There's a very detailed logistical plan that was started.
How are we going to get out of this? You've called the Mr. President, you've called the soldiers losers and suckers. You said the disease will just go away. You outwardly ignored and shamed people at a town hall. You made a complete fool of yourself. You suggested injecting bleach and all this stuff. What if I just go fart? All right, that'll do it.
Months ago. And you know, you're welcome to read it on the web, but basically, yeah, all those things are not a problem, really. I mean, if people know how to shop for groceries or go into a store or sit in the restaurants that are open and use social distancing, I think they can do it for vaccines, too.
And you also have more than one company. You have Johnson & Johnson, you have Pfizer, you have Moderna, you have others. So
if he's going to be up there much longer, that might not be the only one.
you could conceivably have vaccines.
Yeah, bet you they're not going to go to that back mic much more.
Being given out by numerous companies, and they're all world-class companies. They're fantastic.
Don't worry, Miss PMS. I clipped it. Check out my Twitter.
Companies. That could happen also. Okay? Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you prepared?
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you familiar with the phrase, he that smelt it dealt it?
To sign off on the Oracle and TikTok deal, even though the Treasury isn't getting paid? And also, does the deal meet your requirements in terms of national security concerns?
Okay, they're giving me studies on the deal. Has to be 100% as far as national security is concerned. And
not 98%?
No, I'm not prepared to sign off on anything. I have to see the deal. We need security, especially after what we've seen with respect to China and what's going on. We want security. So I'll let you know. They're going to be reporting to me tomorrow morning. And
Steve Mnuchin will let me know whether he has more stock in Microsoft or Oracle.
We'll let you know.
What about payment?
Yeah, everybody share that fart clip with every news outlet and late night host. Let them go find it.
What about the payment to the Treasury?
Well, we're going to see about that. Amazingly, I find that you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed
to say shit for a long time, and then it turns out not to be true at all.
To accept when I say, what kind of a thing is this? If they're willing to make big payments to the government, they're not allowed because there's no way of doing that from.
Yeah, there is. It's called socialism. That's government. That's the government. By the way, ask your Republican friends why.
There's no legal pay.
He didn't lift his leg. He did one of these. He just totally sent it Scott Atlas's way.
After doing that, and I'm saying, wait a minute, they're willing to make a big payment to the government, and we're not allowed.
No, that would be a bribe, dumbass.
To take the money. When does this happen? How foolish can we be?
That's just stupid. No, go ask your Republican friends how that sounds a lot like what Venezuela's problem is.
No, we're looking into that right now. You understand that? In other words, I said, no, I want a big chunk of that money to go to the United States government because we made
to patch the hole in the deficit you created.
it possible. And the lawyers come back to me and they say, well, there's no way of doing that. You know why? Because nobody's ever heard of that before. Nobody's ever said
Yes, they have. They've heard of it in socialist countries.
that before. Nobody's ever said, well, we'll approve the deal, but we want a lot of money to go to the government because by approving the deal, we're making the deal valuable.
What? No. You're manipulating the market then. You do not want this to be the standard, asshole.
Never heard of that before. Okay? Can you believe that, right? Hard to believe. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah, quick follow-up on TikTok.
The straw
you had
disappeared?
said earlier that it was really important to you that a U.S. company buy TikTok, and according to the proposal submitted by ByteDance would keep a majority stake, and Oracle would have a minority
Well, we're going
stake.
to find out about that.
Yeah, you're talking out of your ass. Apparently a little too much.
Looking into that from the standpoint of ByteDance, we don't like that. I mean, just conceptually, I can tell you I don't like that. Do
you know anything about this deal? Anything at all?
It's not been told to me yet. That has been reported, but it hasn't been told to me. It could be very accurate reporting for a change. So if that's the case, I'm not going to be happy with that. Assuming that ByteDance is China, which I think it probably is.
Why wouldn't you know? You're insisting that a company sell itself to an American holding company. How would you not know?
Yeah. Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, he's getting a little squishy in his drawers. He wants to leave.
Bill Barr told prosecutors that he wants to charge violent demonstrators with sedition. And you told Judge Janine that if there's violent demonstrations on election night, we'll put them down very quickly if they do that. Look, it's called an insurrection. So I'm wondering why you want to use that kind of rhetoric when there's such a
Well, the
volatile
question was
situation.
asked to me about if you have violent demonstrations. Yes, we will put it down very, very quickly if there is. Absolutely.
Are you making
And I
plans?
think the American public wants to see that. Yeah, OAN, please. OAN.
Please bail me out of this.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. With
Now,
regards
just to finish, look, if there's any kind of demonstration or violence, there will be nothing that interferes with this product, this vote. There's going to be nothing. The biggest problem we have right now are the ballots.
Product?
Millions of ballots going out. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, the biggest problem is all the ballots and people actually voting.
When you talk about other countries, whether it's China, Russia, or many others that get mentioned, they're in a...
Yeah, it goes to OAN and they're like, Mr. President, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just enjoying the aroma.
much better position with these paper ballots to do something than they would ever be under the old system. And that's our biggest
The old system of what? Paper ballots?
problem. Our biggest threat to this election is governors from opposing parties controlling ballots, millions of ballots. To me, that's a much bigger threat than foreign countries, because much of the stuff coming out about foreign countries turned out to be untrue. What is true is that many elections have taken place over the last year and a half using this ballot system. They've been off by 5%, 10%, 15%. I think I read one at 40%, 40%.
No.
And these are small, easy to control elections.
Yeah, local elections that don't have federal standards.
This whole
You cannot trust the mayoral election in Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. I'm just saying.
ballot system where you can send it in and it's not even requested. We're not talking about it solicited. They're
They shouldn't have to request it in a pandemic.
unsolicited ballots, and they're sent in, is very dangerous for our country. And you know who knows that better than anybody? The Democrats. Look at what happened in Manhattan, where they had this kind of an election, and it was so fraudulent that it should never have been allowed to be called. We could have 5, 10, 15, 20% off. We could have more than that. The ballots will be stolen. Who knows where they're going? Who knows where they're
You're losing by 10% in the polls.
coming from?
No, it is not, Joey.
It's not just the counting of the ballots,
It's sort of a Star Trek show.
which, by the way, which will take forever. It'll take forever. You think November 3rd? You might not have, I guess at a certain point it goes to Congress. You know, at a certain point it goes to Congress. You know that. This is a disgrace. This is being done on purpose. They know it's no good. They know it's going to be fraudulent. It's going to be fraud all over the place. Who's getting
You wish.
the ballots? Who's sending the ballots?
Yes, it is theoretical.
People saying you don't need a verified signature. This is a serious threat to our democracy, and the Democrats know that. All we're asking, if you solicit the ballot, you go through a process. You ask for a ballot because you can't be there for a long.
Yeah, what reasons wouldn't you be able to be there? You're one of these 60% of Americans who have pre-existing conditions that could be comorbidities for COVID-19?
Number of reasons. For whatever I'm doing it myself. I won't be able to be in Florida.
Why? Why not? Why won't you be able to be in Florida? You not only have a giant campaign plane, but you also have Air Force One and the ability to be in any state at any time. You could fly down there and vote in person. Why won't you?
You solicit and they send it back. Oh. You do it and you send it back. That's a process that you go through, and it's pretty secure. I use the word pretty secure. I guess nothing's foolproof, but what's pretty close to what the most foolproof thing, the thing that really works, is you go to the ballot box. It's going to be very safe. I think by that time, COVID will be even lower. It's going to be very low. It's going to be a very safe process. We did it during World War I. We did it during World War II.
Neither of which were wars fought on American soil, and they certainly weren't contagious.
The biggest threat to...
What happened to your grandfather? Well, he was voting during World War II, and he caught a Japanese bullet.
This election is these unsolicited ballots sent out by the millions, controlled by governors like in Nevada, who is a political person, very political.
Nevada.
Far beyond being governor, where they tried to stop you from making a speech unsuccessfully, but we had to move around a lot, had to move quickly. So this...
They had to give a speech and run into the bushes, and I was completely sweaty by the end of it.
Same guy that tried to stop you from making free speech outside, not inside, outside. They forced us inside because of what they did, but outside. This is the guy that's controlling ballots. Then you look at Pennsylvania, you look at other places. It is
all the places you're losing.
Big threat. And as far as China is concerned, and Russia, and they say North Korea, they say Iran, they say places. Who knows? Who knows? But they say all these different places. They can make forgeries of these ballots.
No, they can't.
They can do things that will blow your mind. And the Democrats know it's wrong. They know it's going to end up being a disaster. Just take a look at what's happened. Take a look at what's happened over the last year with this same kind of thing, except...
This is going to be his excuse for losing.
In a very small setting, with very few ballots going out. So that's much easier. Not 53 to 80 million going out. A very small number. And you know what's happened? Fraud like you've never seen, missing ballots, ballots that never showed up, ballots with bad signatures, ballots with no signatures. And in the case of Nevada, they don't even want verification of the signature. It's a
People can check their mail-in vote.
disgrace. Now, the hope for our nation is it's before judges. In Pennsylvania, it's before judges. In Nevada, it's before judges. In other places, it's before...
Yeah, you guys are just trying to get Kanye and the Green Party on the ticket everywhere, thinking it'll water down the Democrat vote.
Federal judges. And hopefully they'll do what they did the other day in Pennsylvania, where we had a great victory. Open up your state. It's unconstitutional to close it. Because what they were doing is closing it. And they're closing it for political reasons. It'll open on November 4th. It'll open up right...
Why? You can't... Okay. We talked about this yesterday. But his other argument is that as soon as Biden gets in, he's going to shut everything down. Well, if they're going to open it on November 4th, why would Biden go through the mockery of a 6-week shutdown if they were just kidding? Like, psych!
But they want people to... They want our numbers to be as bad as...
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say Democratic vote because all voting is Democratic.
Possible, but the problem is our numbers are so good, with or without various states opening up.
The Democratic Party, by the way.
With or without. But we had a big legal victory, as you know, 3 days ago. A federal judge told them to open up their state. It's unconstitutional what you're doing. That's
Who put that federal judge in? Just curious.
in the case of Pennsylvania. Now the big cases are going to be the cases on these unsolicited ballots, and we'll see what happens. All right, OAN, please.
Mr. President, on the grounds that the Chinese Communist Party has been using slave labor in Xinjiang, your administration has imposed a limited ban on certain products coming out of Xinjiang.
Yeah, none of which are Ivanka's products, but go ahead.
Stopping short of a full region ban. What is your response to the Chinese Communist Party's spokespeople who are saying that this is an outright lie, Xinjiang does not have forced labor? And number two, have allies expressed interest in standing with this administration in taking action against forced labor imposed by the Communist
we don't
Party?
want to see that. We've been very strong on that. We're getting reports in over the next 2-3 days. We'll know very
We've been very strong on that, except where we haven't.
accurately what the
Nice.
story is, and we'll then
Brad.
take action one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual number of people who tested positive.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you about the WTO's recent ruling against the United States over $200 billion in tariffs on China. Should the U.S. remain part of the WTO?
Well, I have real questions about it. Look, the U.S., we just won a $7.5 billion lawsuit, which nobody
Yeah, that was filed during the Obama administration.
used to sue before I came along, or they used to lose them every single time. Now they haven't been.
Okay. I know we don't have a ton of time this particular. Hold on 1 second. I need to, because I moved my stuff around, I'm going to take this page out quick. There we go. And then, let's see, grab this. $7 billion trade WTO lawsuit. There we go. So what's probably going to come up, yeah, there you go. October 20th, $100 billion revenue. I guess let me find the whole Obama. World Trade Organization says U.S. can move forward. Plans to impose. Hold on. React. Wink. The decision. This is in. We just won this, by the way, is he saying? This is an article from October 2019. But World Trade Organization says the U.S. can move forward with plans to impose some 7.5 billion tariffs on EU goods annually, to counteract years of European loans and illegal subsidies to Airbus. The decision comes after a years-long dispute over European Union countries' role in building Airbus into a global player and a fierce competitor to U.S. aerospace giant Boeing. But the clash is far from over. WTO will likely rule in the coming months on the EU's own request to levy tariffs on the U.S. over its aid to Boeing. For a sign of how this clash runs, let me see if we can find when it was filed. Yeah, here we go. What do you know? The U.S. first registered its Airbus dispute in October of 2004. But those U.S.-European talks failed, and in 2005, the WTO began probing how government supported both Airbus and Boeing. And wait. Under the Obama administration, the U.S. requested authorization in 2011 to take countermeasures to undo the adverse effect of the EU subsidies. At the time, the U.S. estimated the damage to lost sales and other charges were worth $7 to $10 billion yearly. In 2018, the U.S. revised that figure to 11.2, but the WTO opted for a smaller figure in approving the sanctions Wednesday. This has been going on. Literally, the main filing came in 2011. So, yeah, just for the record, because as you do, right? Oh, it's just a clip. Hold on.
Them, but we're getting reports on the WTO. It's not good. Never been good.
But please tell us about the World Health Organization because it's they both have world and organization in their title.
Yes. The WTO, as far as I'm concerned, was created to suck money and jobs out of the United States to the benefit of China and other countries. That's what my opinion is.
China wasn't in the WTO when it's all right.
Whether it was created or it just turned out to be that way, but the World Trade Organization has been not good for the United States. It's been good for everybody else, but it's not been good. It was a method, in my opinion, of taking advantage of the United States.
Yeah. Why? Explain yourself.
So we're looking into what happened, and we'll get back to you fast.
Two questions. One, you said you spoke with Dr. Redfield earlier, and you said that he made a mistake.
I think he made a mistake. Yeah,
But-
I didn't go into any great depth. I was very surprised to hear it. It doesn't really matter. Here's what does.
Yeah, it does
matter. We're all set to distribute immediately. As soon as that vaccine comes out that's safe and good and works, whether it's Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, or anybody else, we are ready to distribute it very rapidly, as Scott said, and as our team knows, and they're ready. And that could be it could be in October, sometime in October or November. I don't think it's going to be much later than that.
Because if we announce it later than that, it doesn't help me in the election. So we're going to announce it pretty much as soon as possible. But if we announce it too early, everybody's going to know it's bullshit right about the time of the election. So you have to announce it within like 14 days of the election itself, so that there can still be kind of argument about whether or not it's true. If you announce it a week earlier, everybody will have enough time to figure out it's bullshit.
I think it could be sometime in October. We're ready to move, and it'll be a very full distribution.
So y'all had the call. You said
I'm still like exhausted from laughing.
that you told him that he had made a mistake. What was his response?
No, I
And did
didn't
he
tell him
apologize?
anything. I said, what happened? And I got the impression that he didn't realize he said what he might have said. I
So that's who you want in charge of the CDC?
didn't see him say it. But if that's what he said, it's a mistake, because here's, sir, ready? We're ready to distribute immediately
He didn't talk to him. Not at all.
to a vast section of our country, and then beyond, because
And beyond. To
we
infinity.
want to help other countries also. But we're ready to distribute immediately.
But the timeline that he
420 Ripcord. Well, good. I feel like I've given everybody a workout today.
gave, saying that it wouldn't be ready for the general public until the middle of next year, sounds very like the one that you kind of just offered.
No, I said that there'll be 700 million doses by end of Q1, and everyone in high risk will have it sometime, no later than January.
Yeah, he was talking,
That's
he
what
said
I
the
said.
general public for
No,
next
well,
year.
we are
He wasn't
focused.
talking about high risk
As you
or
know,
healthcare.
Caitlin, we're focused on high risk, but we're going to focus also on general public very much. But our immediate aim is elderly people, and especially elderly people with heart, diabetes problems. But we will have it.
Heart diabetes problems. You mean like you?
We're not looking at a small distribution program. We're looking at distributing to the whole United States with an immediate focus of.
No, Q1 is not January, by the way, Edward Bremen. Well spotted. Q1 is the end of essentially March, right? January, February, March. By the end of Q1.
The elderly. Now,
by the way, who wants their grandmother to be the experiment, the guinea pig for the Trump vaccine, where they skipped two, like the second phase of 3 phases?
Under no circumstance will it be as late as the doctor said, but I think that
under it's very possible it will be that late.
If he analyzes, they hit him with that question. He said that we are ready.
Yeah, nobody would expect that question in front of a congressional committee on the vaccine response.
A much faster level than what he said. We will have rapid distribution. We're set up, our military and others are set up to do it. And we think it could even start taking place in October, but
come on down and get your Donald Trump MAGA oil.
Certainly during November, December would be the latest, because based on what we're hearing, results are, based on what I'm...
Dude, November 1st and 2nd, they're just going to have like army trucks full of syringes driving around.
Hearing results are very good.
Like, honestly, what else but that is going to get them to be able to pretend they've done this?
So we'll see what happens.
And by the way, no one's going anywhere near those trucks, especially his followers.
Woodward, the problem with a vaccine is a vaccine will take 13 to 14 months once you have it, because you have to test a vaccine.
So do you want to clarify?
Well, what I was saying to him, no, that was a long time ago when I said that. We weren't set up at that time. Well, how many months ago? When was the statement made? His book is sort of obsolete because the book comes out. By the way, I read the book last night very rapidly because it was very boring. I read it.
Yeah, because that's what really turns a book into a page turner, is how boring it is.
And if you see what I said a lot of really good things. I mean, for the most part, people like to.
Dude, he's totally going to quote just the stuff that came out in audio right now.
Turn it around, but I said really good things in that book. And as an example, he doesn't cover, I told him what we're doing in the Middle East, and we're doing it in an entirely different way. And that's not covered in his book. The whole thing isn't covered in his book. And one thing I will say, and I respect the press for this one, which was interesting, almost universally we've been praised for the deal that we made yesterday with Israel and with, the two.
Oh, obviously you have not been watching my feed. Because on this show, we called bullshit. The Bahrain UAE deal is strictly an arms deal by every other name. Bibi Netanyahu was pissed that's how these people were brought to the table. He was freaking out, faking a smile. They were so angry. And then what did they get for their troubles? They went home with a bunch of cases of COVID.
Very important countries in the Middle East, and UAE in particular, where it's a very powerful group. It's a warrior country. It's led by a great warrior and a man who's highly respected. And
why is it this great warrior culture? They're basically they're Long Beach, California.
If you take a look at that and Bahrain and Israel making a deal, and I will tell you, we have at least 4 or 5 others that want to come in. They would have come in yesterday. I talked to 2 of them.
Qatar
yesterday, and they're ready to trot. And
they're ready to trot.
I think you're going to have a whole level of peace without blood all over the sand. Nobody.
What is this blood on the sand horse shit? Like, he said this the other day too. Like, he loves this analogy.
The sand was loaded up with blood.
Loaded with blood.
A lot of that sand is going to be loaded up with peace. Shot, nobody was killed. We killed hundreds of thousands of people in the Middle East. It's been.
Yeah, they're not those countries though. We haven't been fighting in Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates.
I always say it's the bloodiest sand anywhere in the world. And it didn't have to be that way. The single worst decision our country ever made was to go into the Middle East. Not only the millions of people killed, and I include people on both sides. Some people say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." I said, "I'll say it."
Who says that? Who says that the deaths, especially civilian ones on the other side, don't count? Your people.
Both sides. Such a horrible thing was done. Such a horrible mistake was made.
Oh.
We're doing this a different way. So we have those 2 countries. We have at least 5 that we're negotiating with right now. And, you can only negotiate with so many. I think they're all going to come in.
Yeah, we've got, there's such a huge line outside.
I think ultimately the Palestinians are going to come in. These are all the people that are funding.
Why? Because you cut off all funding and you're using the Israelis to stop them from getting any food or medicine in? You think they're just going to tap out?
Them. I stopped funding the Palestinians fairly early.
Right.
On because they were saying bad things about our country. I said, "What do you mean? We're giving them $750 million."
Israel gave the Bahrain king a Rolls Royce and he signed the deal. We gave them, we're giving them F-35s.
A year, and they're saying all bad things about our country. So I stopped funding them very early on. But they get funded by other very rich countries. To them, it's like...
Yeah, so if we fund them, then we have leverage. If we cease to fund them, then they go where they can get food and medicine and arms to defend themselves, and they will go to the shittiest people.
It's nothing. But they get funded, and but I think now that these countries, these very rich countries, are part of the deal, and they're going to, you'll see over the next fairly short...
You mean the deal to build a Trump Tower, you could?
Period of time. Other countries will come in. I think Saudi Arabia ultimately will come in too.
Yeah, why not? I mean, we're just using our soldiers as sandbags against Houthi rebel missile strikes.
Getting Saudi Arabia will be great, but I think Saudi Arabia, this is my feeling, it's not based on knowledge other than a couple of conversations I had with the king. But Saudi Arabia, I think, will be coming in too. And you'll end up with peace in the Middle East, and nobody thought it could be done, and nobody thought it could be done this way. I went to some very smart people. I went to some people in the Middle East, and they said, you'll never be able to do it. It's not possible to make peace. Well, now they're saying to me, nobody ever thought of doing this.
Nobody ever thought of giving $50 billion worth of weapons to people who, A, don't need them, and B, will sell them to people who will kill our soldiers.
They all thought you make the deal first with the Palestinians. It had to be that way. And I will say the resistance was some countries didn't want to do it unless the Palestinians were there first. That was just a psychological thing more than anything else, but they were wrong.
Yeah, it's just a quirk they have since childhood.
The people, our great representatives that have been doing this for 35 years that were telling me how to do it, but they all failed. They were in Clinton's administration, they were in Bush, they were in Obama.
And they were all of them were unable to create deals with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Except they've been trading partners with Israel forever.
Great, brilliant people. They're all telling me how to do it, and I said they're wrong, and I guess I was right. And when you see, let's finish this. When you see the countries that will be coming, a very short period of time, not talking a long period of time, all of the
right before the election, after we give them all $20 billion and a bunch of F-35s and bunker buster bombs and landmines and
countries that will be coming in, just like you saw Bahrain yesterday and UAE, and I can think of, at least 5 that are going to be quick and easy. Others
like who? Think of some other Middle Eastern countries off the top of your head.
Will be quick and easy also once the 5 come in. So you're going to have something, you're going to have peace in the Middle East, and we want to get out, our soldiers are largely coming home. I said the endless wars, the ridiculous endless wars. And I will say this, if I didn't withdraw our country from that horrible Iran nuclear deal, that horrible, stupid deal where President Obama paid $150 billion for nothing and gave $1.8 billion in cash. $1.8 billion,
Their money. And the longer we held it, the more we owed interest on it.
That is $1.8 billion in cash. That's more impressive than the $150 billion paid normally. But he gave all this money, all of these chips that we had. We had these chips, and he gave them all away, and we got nothing. And it was a short-term deal. It would be practically expiring now. It starts to expire actually right now, but it would practically be. And there is no way we will let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Just remember that. There's no way that's going to happen.
Are you reversing the statement? You never answered the statement. I'll just plug up this, but do you want to reverse what you told Woodward about the 13 to 14 month timeline for a vaccine?
Well, the vaccine at the time, I thought it might take that period of time, but we've stepped it up very substantially. And now, I'm just telling you, this is just what it is. We've been able to step it up very, very rapidly.
By skipping safety.
I thought we could have a vaccine as quickly as we did, but I freed it up. I freed up the FDA. Dr. Hahn's done a great job. And they're
O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us.
Very different is you look at a company like Pfizer, a great company, really one of the great companies of the world, Johnson & Johnson, they're all great companies. They're doing a lot of testing at a very rapid rate that nobody's ever seen anything like it. They're out in they're in the 3rd level of trial. And
phase. And they did it by skipping phase 2, right? And the FDA gave them permission to skip the 2nd phase.
I think that you're going to see things that are amazing.
Good night, Sweet Pea.
When I made statements like that, that's an old statement. When I made statements like that, I had no idea that we could produce as well as we're producing. But only because of what I've done with the FDA and other things can we come up with numbers like that. We're lucky that we don't have to, because that was considered fast. If this were an administration from the past, and I think I can say far beyond Obama, if it was other administrations also,
if this was an administration during a time when these countries actually still had oil and weren't going cash broke because of overspending, I would say that they wouldn't be anywhere near making this deal. Gee. Thanks, Brevin.
Have a vaccine for 2.5, 3 years, and we're going to have a vaccine within, at most, a couple of months. Okay? John?
At most.
Mr. President, if I could ask you about coronavirus relief, do you support the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal that was put forward? Are you comfortable with the $500 billion for the states?
Something like that. Yeah, I like the larger amount. I've said that. You know, some of the Republicans disagree, but I think I can convince them to go along with that because I like the large.
So they've already signed off on a larger amount. This is just for show, and they're just delaying it until it's closer to the election so they get more credit.
Number. I want to see people get money. I want to see. It wasn't their fault that this happened. It was China's fault. You know, people say, "Oh,
your fault."
You shouldn't say that. That's not nice. It was China's fault. So I'd like.
How did it get out of Washington State and New York State? If you could
to see the larger number, yeah, I would like to see it. There are some things I disagree with, but I'm sure they can be negotiating. Now I heard
like a women's right to her own physical autonomy whenever you're around.
Nancy Pelosi said she doesn't want to leave until we have an agreement. She's come a long way. That's great. If she said that, she's come a long way. I agree with her. We should have an agreement. People should be helped, and they should be helped as rapidly as possible. And I think it's going to happen.
We're just going to wait until it's closer to the election so we can brag on it.
I think it's very important.
And we're hoping everyone will forget that we dragged our feet and tried to scuttle this deal as long as we sign it within 3 weeks of the election. So if we wait 2 more weeks and dick around, then we can claim, hey, didn't you just get your check? We're trying to make it so the check arrives on November 2nd.
So the problem solvers came up with, it's a group of people in Congress.
Is it really? It's not angels or mole people?
As you know them all. I know them all. They're very good people.
Oh, they are moles. Sorry.
I guess you'd consider them dead center. But in many cases, they're not. They're left, they're right. But they came up with this idea. And I think they're well on their way to suggesting some pretty good things. Yeah.
So in terms of
I agree with.
They're well on their way to suggesting some pretty good things. They've already suggested them. They're well on their way to getting people to actually do something about it.
A lot of it.
In terms of things that you don't agree, are you comfortable with the $500 billion?
I think the things I don't agree, we can probably negotiate. But I think we've made some progress over the last week. And I think it was positive that they came out with that report.
Just to button this up, would you endorse that proposal?
Well, not that a proposal, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. I do like a lot of money getting sent to people that really...
On November 1st or 2nd.
Really were hurt unnecessarily by China because they could have stopped it. They stopped it from going into their country. They could have stopped it from coming to our country. And
Wuhan is their country.
From going to Europe and from going to the rest of the world, 188 different countries from all over the world, please.
Mr. President, the director of the CDC also testified today that a mask, in his estimation, is guaranteed to protect the American public more from the coronavirus than a vaccine. You have, as detailed, poured a lot of resources into a vaccine development. Why not devote your energy...
And to masks.
Why not devote your energy now to a campaign to have all Americans wear a mask, something that, if more effective than a vaccine, would also help schools and the economy?
Okay, number one, it's not more effective by any means than a vaccine, and I called him about that. Those were the 2 things I discussed with him.
I talked to him about the things that nobody brought up and that I said about the thing that I didn't say.
And
he didn't call him. This is ridiculous. This is just a lie. This is just dumb lying.
Believe that if you ask him, he would.
He will tell you have more direct efficacy if you continue to wear a mask than if you have the vaccine, because that's 65. It lowers the transmission rate 65%. So 2 people wearing it would lower it astronomically. Whereas if both of you have had the vaccine, but one of you isn't immune to it, and both of you aren't wearing masks, ta-da.
Probably say that he didn't understand the question.
Jesus Christ. How stupid is he? Why are you putting an idiot in charge of shit if he can't understand questions? He didn't understand the question.
Because I said to him, I asked him those 2 questions.
I hire all the best people, but I don't think he understands English.
One question which we covered, and the mask question. And I was...
What was the other? Did you bring up the whole thing about Agenda 35 and the distribution matrix of Cell 7? Like, somebody should just ask him some random bullshit and listen to him go, yeah, we talked about that. I was like, I asked if he was for it, and he said yes, and I was like, well, I might be against it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Inaccurately covered, because I was on with George last night, George Stephanopoulos. And,
that George.
And I enjoyed it. I think people enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
A lot of people said very good things about the show.
The show. Yeah, they said it was a laugh riot.
I hope they did well. But they said a lot of good things about the show, but they always cut my
Yeah, about the people.
This is off. They cut it off on masks.
They didn't cut it off.
Masks have problems too. And I talked about the masks have to be handled very gently, very carefully.
No, they don't.
I see that in restaurants, there are people with masks, and they're playing around with their mask, and they have it.
Yeah, and they wash their hands or use hand sanitizer between every table.
Their fingers are in their mask, and then they're serving with plates. I mean, I think there's a lot of problems with.
It is not my fault that the people at Mar-a-Lago are disgusting.
No, vaccine is.
Why do you hire these assholes?
Much more effective than the masks, and if we get the vaccine, we have. Added to the fact that our numbers are going way down. You see the numbers. I'm just reading you statistics that are from wherever they get them, but they're very highly qualified statistics. But no, the mask is not as important as the vaccine. The mask perhaps helps. Don't forget, a lot of people didn't like the concept of masks initially. Dr. Fauci didn't like them.
No, people were buying up the N95 masks. They didn't have enough PPE. They were saying, stay home. We don't buy all these masks and go out. You're in danger of spreading the disease, and you're using up PPE that we need for the medical frontline workers.
A lot of people didn't, and I'm not knocking anybody because I understand both sides of the argument. But when I called up Robert today, I said to him, "What's with the mask?" He said, "I think I answered that question incorrectly. I think."
This is what he said. I think I answered that question incorrectly.
Maybe he misunderstood it. I mean, you have two questions. Maybe he misunderstood both of them. But
how stupid? First of all, there is no way this is true. This is like a sir story. Sir, I did not understand. People come up to me and they ask a lot of questions. People go, "Sir, I did not understand either question."
The answer to the one is it's going to be a much faster distribution than he said. Maybe he's not aware of the distribution process. It's not really his thing.
Why wouldn't he be? He's on the task force. He meets every single day.
As much as it would be, let's say, mine, but the distribution is going to be much faster.
Sir, are you a moron?
As far as the mask is concerned, I hope that the vaccine is going to be a lot more beneficial than the masks because people have used the masks. But when I looked at that chart that we put up,
it's not there anymore.
If you look, we're right. If you do the good job, they had, I guess, 240,000. But if you do the good.
At the top end, 100 to 240,000.
If it worked out well. Now, look, one death is too much. One death.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're not going to shut down the economy or change the course of human history or do this if one person dies of something.
Death is too much. Should have never happened. But the lower level was at that 240,000, between 100 and something and 240.
No, it wasn't. The lower was 100,000.
As far as the mask is concerned, he made a mistake.
But on the masks, I mean, perhaps they are part of the role for the decrease in cases because they are effective, as you just said. So I know you've wanted.
No, they may be effective, and I wear them when I'm in a hospital or when I'm in a setting with a lot.
My question is, why not wear it more often, or have the White House staff wear it more often to set an example for the country?
Well, I'm tested, and I'm sometimes surprised when I see somebody sitting and, like with Joe. Joe feels very safe in a mask. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to expose his face. I don't know what's going on.
He doesn't want to expose his face. I'll go to him exposing his face right after this.
Way away from people. Nowhere near people. There'll be nobody with him. He doesn't.
By the way, we're worried about you exposing your ass.
Or any crowds, so have circles. These big.
Yes. For those of you coming late, I posted the clip on my Twitter feed. Trump farted.
Circles. They'll be way far away. There's no reason for him to have masks on. We get tested. I'm tested. I have people tested. When people come into the Oval Office, it's like a big deal, no matter who.
Yeah, but you go across the country, your staff interacts with a bunch of people. Jared and everybody shook hands and glad hand. You had this entire event. Everybody's mingling before they come see you. Even if they've been tested, you're still bringing it to them. They have outbreaks in Israel for this very reason.
They are the heads of countries. They all get tested. So I'm in sort of a different position.
Yeah, it's not a genetic predisposition. You can catch it 20 seconds after you got the test. You can catch it as they take your sample.
And maybe if I wasn't in that position, I'd be wearing it.
I am not kidding, Bean Toes. I am dead serious. We went over it dozens of times. Real fart.
More, but I've worn masks, and especially I like to wear them when I'm in hospital. Not for me so much as for other people. Okay?
Yeah, and he's not talking about like face masks for protection. He means like a full-on. He wears a Bane mask just to scare the children. I hope you all die. You're a drag on the economy. Right.
Thanks.
Mr. President, can I just ask you about...
I have 2 questions, Mr. President. One for Dr. Atlas. Dr. Atlas, you mentioned minorities would be the first focus of the distribution. How would that exactly work in practice when it's being distributed specifically to minorities? And then secondly, for you,
Well, he didn't say minorities. He says minorities and senior citizens, yeah.
Oh, sure. But can you talk us through a bit more on the focus on distributing to minorities?
I'm sorry, overweight person. You're white. You'll have to stand over there and wait. Yes, I know you have a diabetes wristband and heart disease. No. We're trying to shore up the president's numbers with blacks and Latinos up until the election. Come back November 6th.
How that would work. And then
She has a mask. It's an American flag, and it's pulled down during her question.
you, Mr. President,
When, by the way, she's speaking the loudest and spitting on that dude's neck the most.
you mentioned the drop in the poverty rate. Specifically, we noticed at Just the News that the poverty rate
Just the News. We noticed that at Just the News.
for African Americans hit historic lows, that the household wealth increased historically for African Americans. What was driving that increase in wealth for African Americans? And now in 2020, with the coronavirus, with unemployment spiking, what would be your plan for the second term to improve lives for
Well, I'll
African
go first because of your question. I appreciate your question. And yeah, we've had a tremendous drop in poverty for all people in our nation, but in particular for...
What's the percentage drop since you came into office compared to the percentage drop that happened under Obama? And what's the difference in percentage drop? So if the Obama administration and Biden were bringing it down by 5% annually, and you brought it down by 6.5% during your presidency, you would have a 1.5% advantage, a shift that you could argue is attributable, but no different than the 5% incremental progress made by, economic elements of previous administrations, maybe even going back as far as Reagan.
African Americans, and that statistic came in, and it's because the African American community, the black community, has had the best.
Oh, that's what that means.
Employment numbers that we've ever had, both employment and unemployment, depending on how you want to define it. But we've had the best employment numbers we've ever had. Now,
what are they?
We had the greatest.
What are they? Say them.
Employment in the country ever, almost 160 million people. We've never been close to that number. But
yeah, we have. After World War II, we had 2.1% unemployment.
We were just 6 months ago. And I'm very proud of the numbers. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, they had the best numbers they've ever had by far, both employment and unemployment, depending on definition. Thank you very much for that question. Scott, you want to answer that?
Okay. To clarify, I said that the first prioritization.
By the way, Scott Atlas has nothing to do with any of this.
Is the high-risk people and frontline.
They're trying to give him an excuse for being nearby in case Trump has an episode. Honestly, there is no other reason for Scott Atlas to be there. He's a Trumpster. Trump trusts him as a doctor, and they just literally want him around in case Trump starts to smell burnt toast. That's what this is. They're trying to give him shit to do so he seems like he's doing something.
Healthcare workers But just to reiterate what I said, there are 51,000 outlets for distribution, for vaccination. And there's
What are you counting? Every CVS and Rite Aid in the country?
over 14,000
Or every Walmart parking lot?
federally qualified health centers that are particularly targeted to minority and low-income areas. So that's a focus. I want
You could legit pop out a cranial embolism pushing out these squeakers. It's holding them in is what's doing it. That's where they probably, you just had to let them
two
go.
other things. We're also prioritizing testing to historically black colleges and universities, and we're in the process of getting that finalized.
You're in the process of getting that finalized. It's September. You're in the process of, oh God.
Because we know that there's higher morbidity in certain ethnic groups. And last,
yeah, it's not because they're black and brown necessarily, and certainly not in the areas where the historically black colleges and universities are.
I would say is,
by the way, everybody get your vitamin D levels checked and make sure you're taking enough to supplement if you don't get it enough
it's
normally.
particularly heinous and egregious abuse of the media to instill fear into people about taking a vaccine, because there is no shortcut here. Everything is safe, everything is effective, and
thanks, Baghdad Bob.
People who have particularly
cool. Then, oh, that was fun. Hard May.
influence on minority communities.
At least it came out of my mouth because I was drinking something and it's got little floaty seed things in it. It wasn't some big Coke snot like Trump had.
So fear and doubt is a particularly, outrageous abuse of public policy and of leadership. These are people that have higher risk. And so I implore everyone who's in a high-risk category that when we get a safe, effective vaccine, they should take the vaccine.
I will say this is a phenomenon that only happened when they realized that we may very well have the vaccine prior to a certain very important date, namely November 3rd. Once they heard that, the Democrats started, just to show you how bad the intention is, they started knocking the vaccine. Had nothing to
Dude, you rushed it. You skipped phase 2.
do with the vaccine. It was totally made up. It's all disinformation.
Okay, cool. Then get all the maggots to get the shot first.
Just like they put in.
Please show me lines and lines of Trump fans, getting the shot. And then also have a scientist nearby to prove it's not saline.
In about football, just like they put with respect to me. I'm the one that got football back. And I was
Yeah, these are two equal.
always against them going out. It was ridiculous, that Big Ten. And now hopefully Pac-10 goes back. And I say that just like
Pac-12?
Even worse, they put out a totally
Did two of the Pac die since we last spoke?
fake ad.
We're Big Ten and Pac-12. What happened to the other two?
Totally made up story. It was a made up story by a third-rate magazine where the head guy, I guess the head person, I have no idea who he is, I don't know him, but he's friends with Obama and Clinton. So they made up this.
Yeah, it's funny how that as the enemy of my enemy is my friend in some ways. There's a lot of people coming over to be, with growing respect for Biden and Obama and Clinton after hanging around with you for a little while.
Double story, and then they did ads. Well,
yeah, is Trump going to take the vaccine first during a college football halftime? Yeah, midfield.
They made up this story too. This story is very simple. They started knocking the vaccine as soon as they heard that this actually may come out prior to election.
No, they started knocking the process when you eliminated phase 2.
May or may not, but it'll be within a matter of weeks. It'll be within a matter of weeks from November. It's ready to go, and it's ready for massive distribution to everybody, with a focus again on seniors. And I will say also the historically black colleges and universities, we are doing, at my suggestion, because they have had a difficult problem there, we are doing more testing there and finer testing. We have our great apparatus there. But when you
Oh, our great apparatus. Ew.
look at what we've done on testing and
So the ones that are going to the old folks' homes are shit, but he's sending the good ones to the HBCUs because, just in case.
terms of the technology and the amount, it's been really amazing. In fact, I think we're going to crack 100 million tests very soon in the very near future. We're going to be cracking 100 million tests. Now, what that does do is it shows up more cases. If we didn't test, we wouldn't have cases. You would have no cases. Other countries, they don't test, they don't have cases. And then they say, oh, the United States. Well, but we're proud of it because it shows where there may be a problem and it helps people. But we're doing tremendous testing at the
And why would you tell them to slow down the test?
historically black colleges and universities. And
Oh, that's what that means. I thought it was,
that was a suggestion I made.
I thought it was Honda, Buick, Chrysler.
And I think it's a good suggestion. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
thank you. The core of Vice President Biden's argument is that you don't trust the scientists, you don't listen to them. And here up on the podium today, you're twice contradicting the director of your own CDC on the science who testified before Congress today.
No, he's contradicting
Why should the
himself.
American people-
I think he misunderstood the questions.
Well, he was testifying under
You know what I
why
think?
should the
I think he
American
misunderstood. I told you, I don't have to go through this. I think he misunderstood the questions. But I'm telling you, here's the bottom line. Distribution is going to be very rapid. He may not know that. Maybe he's not aware of that.
Yeah, why would he be? It's not like his job depends on it.
Maybe he's not dealing with the military, et cetera, like I do. Distribution is going to be
Maybe. Do you not know? Your task force meets every day.
very rapid, and the vaccine's going to be very powerful.
By the way, you can support the show by becoming a Patreon supporter. Patreon.com/HalSparks. HalSparks.tv/Twitch is a good way to watch the show. And of course, HalSparks.live if you want to donate. You can watch. You can hop over there and do that and then come back. And if you can't afford it because things are crazy and you're worried, just watch. Just enjoy. Just relax. Maybe you'll fart again.
It's going to solve a tremendous problem. It's going to be very powerful.
The American people trust you on the pandemic when you're contradicting the head of the CDC and your
Because
own
of the great
administration.
job we've done, because of the great things we've done in other fields also, because of the fact that we created ventilators, we built ventilators by the thousands, and now we're supplying to the world, because of all of the incredible work we've done for governors who are on every call saying, this is incredible, this is great, this is great. Sometimes they're not quite as friendly at a news conference when you have people covering it. But we have done a phenomenal job on COVID-19, as they like to call it.
As they like to call it. This is the name of the disease, dickhead.
I call it other things. But we have done a phenomenal job. I get calls from other people in other countries. They can't believe the job we've done. And then they'll say, is there any way that you could get us ventilators? I say, how many do you need? 1,000 ventilators. I said, we'll be able to take care of it. We're making
Because we don't need them over here anymore?
thousands of ventilators, very complex, very expensive, very difficult thing to make. We're making thousands a month. The cupboard was bare when I got here.
No, it wasn't.
And I will tell you, our distribution is going to be very rapid and it's going to be all-encompassing. We are going to have a focus on certain groups that have problems, senior citizens, etc.
This is going very well. He's very excited.
But it's a very powerful, it's going to be a very powerful distribution. It's going to cover everybody, and it's going to cover them rapidly. I don't know whether or not the doctor knows that, how much he covers.
The doctor? You work with him every day.
But I called him because I said, why did you say that long? He wasn't that aware of it, and the other one was the mask.
Was he dizzy? Did you have smelling salts? He wasn't that aware of it. What do you, like, honest to God, when is the interview of Woodward where, he talks to him as a follow-up and goes, no, we didn't actually speak about that, and then he gets fired?
The vaccine is going to have tremendous power. It's going to be extremely strong. It's going to be extremely successful.
He doesn't know that.
We're not going to have a problem. And the mask may help, and I hope it helps, and I think it probably does. But again, the mask is a mixed bag. There are some people, professionals, Scott, you would know a lot of them, but there are some people that don't like the mask because of the touchiness and the touching, and then you touch.
No, you freak out, you germaphobe weirdo.
Everything else, they feel that masks have problems. So anyway, go ahead in the back, please.
Mr. President, do you have confidence in Dr. Redfield?
Yeah, I do.
Well, you just said he keeps getting answers wrong.
Well, he gave you some answers.
Questions.
He sort of, I think, maybe misunderstood a question. But we're beyond that now. We're really in final stages of vaccines. We're getting ready to go phase 1 on distribution.
Yeah, and at the helm is a guy who didn't understand 2 basic questions.
And I think it may come out even sooner than you think. I think the vaccine's going to be even better than people thought originally. I think people are going to be really surprised at the success of the vaccine. I think it's going to be a tremendous success. And we're fighting a very powerful party with a poor candidate, in my opinion, but we're fighting a very, very powerful party, and they're partners with the media, and because they're working together very closely. And they only started hitting on the vaccine. When they hit on the vaccine, they only hit on it when they realized that, wow, this is amazing. They may have it even before the election. All of a sudden, they didn't like the vaccine so much.
One other thing that
Yeah, in the back, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Were you informed about positive coronavirus cases in the White House today?
I cannot hear you, I'm sorry.
Were you informed about coronavirus cases, positive cases in the White House today?
Yeah, he had the hard part for him was your accent, not the fact that you were wearing a mask.
About today?
Yes.
On your staff.
On your staff.
Cases today, sir?
Yeah.
Say it.
On your staff.
Jesus Christ, everybody, you don't know that you had people in your staff test positive? Where's Jared?
Cases, there are reports of White House staff members testing positive.
Oh, I see. About staff? You mean about
Yes, staff is the word. Yeah, everyone, we want to know about your staff infection.
I heard about it this morning at a very small level. Yes, I heard about it this morning.
You heard about it at a small level, or the infections were at a very small level?
No, we can have a report to you if you feel it's necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary. How many people have the friggin' COVID in the administration?
But it's a small...
You all met with multiple world leaders and their entire staff.
It's last night I heard about it for the first time.
Did you? Really? Was it was it your nightly call with Jared before Betty by Bo's time and you coughed into the
And it's a small number of cases. Maybe it's not even cases. Do you have any idea if there's...
Yes, we're not going to confirm the identities of the individuals.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, but it did not affect the event, and press was not around the individuals.
And it's not any...
It didn't affect the event, and press was not around the individuals. Huh?
Anybody that was near me. From what I heard, a very small number. I think you can probably give the number out later on when you find out what it might be. One person? It was one person. Okay?
In Philadelphia?
It was one person.
It was Jared.
So not too much, not a person that I was associated with. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Why are you waiting to release your
Jesus Christ. Oh, that was worth it. Wow, it's another long show. I didn't even get to the ABC thing. I don't have a full version of it though. Hold on one second. I want to see if I can find. Oh my God, I'm like, you know that, like after a rain, when the air just seems clearer and there's no clouds in the sky. LA is like this. LA with all the cars and driving and stuff. When it does rain in Los Angeles, it's the right after and the day after. It's some of the most beautiful sky you'll ever see because it's just so clean and it takes all the gunk out of the air, and for a little while until it builds back up again, it's just beautiful. And then, it feels like that after this laugh. Do we have to hear the fart again? Do we go back to it one more time? Well, I don't know that. Hold on. Scott Atlas, rogue asshole. I wanted to find the Biden questions. Oh yeah, some of you came late, so you didn't hear it. So just so people don't think I'm BSing. Make sure this plays or whatever. It's going to take it a second to load. But we will end on a high note, yes, as it were. Although I think that was only full versions from the Daily Wire. Full version of what? Oh, from the of the ABC thing? Okay. Hold on. Cancel. Go back. I don't know why it's hung up. We'll see. Back up. There you go. Go live.
Plan that
Okay,
will
hold
be
on.
done in over.
Now I can find it. Here we go. Now I go back to wage. Yeah. See if I can find her. Hold on.
Would not be available until probably next summer, maybe even early fall. Are you comfortable with that timeline?
No, I think he made a mistake when he said that. It's
Here we go.
Yeah, that's the end of March, right?
It's one thing to have the doses, but we've talked to a lot of public health experts who say if this is happening in the winter and you have to
Different angle.
socially distance, you can't have the packed lines that we saw during H1N1. You can't have packed auditoriums. You have to space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know, Dr.
Did you hear that one, Benny Loco? Did you hear that? Hold on. Back up.
Offices vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know, storing these vaccines. And since we don't, that's one thing. Another thing.
Right after he touches his chin, he's holding onto the thing, and he just squeezes to the side.
They're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Oh, God. Oh, it's still funny. Oh, God.
Storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
Oh, my God. I mean, there's no argument. I mean, because here's, okay, just so you think, anybody thinks I'm messing around with this, coming completely clean as it were, here are all the farts I have at my availability. Here they are. This is one. There's one. There's another one. This one. That's pretty solid. This is the squishy one. Okay, that's the closest to what we actually heard, but it's not the one. Straight out of the clumps. And that one, that's all I got. Those are all the farts I have. And then this is what Trump did.
To space it out. So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know.
It's a real one. He just doesn't realize. Oh, God. Oh, God. It was gross. Like, and every time I hear it, what I keep like in my head, I keep hearing this.
Oh, God. Sorry. I farted.
Did you just soil yourself? Maybe.
Doctor's offices may not.
Oh, there's a clip link. I just retweeted it. Always act as if the mic is hot. Yeah, and in your tuchus. Oh, God. Oh, it's horrifying.
So that's one thing. Another thing they're worried about is storing these vaccines. And since we don't know which one is the winner, you know, doctor's offices.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine. That's enough to gag a maggot. Oh, it smells like carrots and throw up. Jesus. Oh, God. The lean and the squeeze and the push and the thing and the oh, my God. Oh, God. I'm going to post like 9 clips of that. I don't care. We just... Oh, God. Oh, that's so funny. Hold on. ABC, Town Hall. We're just hanging in for the night. Trump. Yeah. Phew. Oh, God. Yeah, I can't get the whole... I don't know why I can't find the... Has anybody got a link for the whole one? Because I can't find it. But here, in the meantime... Biden speech. Today. Oof. Now,
that even if he continues.
So there, he gave a whole speech and then he took questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You just said that when it comes to a vaccine, you don't trust Donald Trump. Is there a risk that that message, that questioning the president on a vaccine, could prevent people from trusting the science, from trusting a vaccine when there finally is one?
No, because they know he doesn't have any respect for scientists. He basically said it. You saw what he said when he was out in California about wildfires, and scientists don't know, and it's going to go away like a miracle. It's necessary so people can trust the vaccine. And that's why I said that you have to have this board of scientists that are going to say, this is why we think this is a good vaccine, why it's approved, and it has to be total transparency. So scientists outside the government know exactly what is being approved, the context in which it's being approved, and why it's being approved. I think it's the only thing that takes care of that.
For a vaccine to work, though, to be effective, you do need a certain amount of the population to be willing to take it.
That's right.
You're saying, don't trust the president, trust me if I'm elected. Are you
No, I'm
confident
not.
that
I'm
enough
saying-
Americans
I'm saying
will buy in?
Trust the scientist. Trust the scientist. It's one thing for Donald Trump to say the vaccine is safe. Okay, then give it to the board of scientists. Have total transparency so independent operators and scientists and companies go out and take a look at it. And what did you base that decision on? What did you do? Did you pressure the head of the FDA? Did you pressure whomever? I'm not saying he would or will, but that's what has to happen. Because you know yourself, you all know the polls better than I do. The American people right now don't trust what the president says about things relating to science.
And if the scientists say a vaccine under the president's watch is safe and effective,
Absolutely.
you will take it?
Do it. Yes. If those 3 questions I laid out can be answered, yes, absolutely.
Like, and by the way, do you see this kind of pushback that often at Trump's little outside gatherings? I mean, they're having, this is basically the ones who would show up in the press briefings. So if you imagine Biden standing on the same stage, same kind of people or whatever, but this kind of like how dare you almost attitude about questioning the president?
Caitlin, CBS.
By the way, there are no teleprompters anywhere near these people or in front of him as far as for the questions. These are all off the cuff.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just a quick follow-up on that. You say that you don't trust the president. Does that mean you also don't trust the CDC and the FDA currently?
No. I don't trust some of the people, like the fella who just took a leave of absence from the CDC. He didn't run it, but he was a spokesperson for it. But there are some, when I met with the 7 scientists today on the screen here in this room, they told me the people that they had worked with in the CDC and the FDA and all the various agencies. And there's some very, very good people there in the ranks, the everyday folks that are not everyday, they're scientists.
You mean the deep state?
But the people who do the daily work in there, and there's some very, very good people. But you know from other items that they've been quashed in things they've said, And they've been pressured, the heads of those agencies, politically appointed, some of them, have been in fact moved. Moved to say, yes, we can do this or that, or this will work or that will work. It's a simple proposition. If a vaccine is ready to go, it should be totally transparent, the basis upon which that decision was made. What scientists have looked at it within the government and outside the government and said this is a useful, safe vaccine to take. And so that's all I'm saying. And that's going to be necessary, I'd respectfully suggest, no matter what I said in this process, because all the polling data shows now, it's something like only 30-some% of American people say, if Trump said it's okay. This is the same guy that said inject bleach. This is the same guy that said, you know, you want to keep hurricanes from getting to the United States, why don't we drop a nuclear weapon on them? I mean, you know, there's a reason why they're not so certain.
A quick question on the economy. The Fed today announced that their projections for unemployment are actually going to be lower than expected. In polling, we see time and again that President Trump has an edge over you on the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, because I don't think I've been out of office for 4 years, and they don't, you know, it's a long time, 4 years ago. We actually created more jobs in the last 3 years of our administration than he created in the first 4 years of his administration. We actually had more equitable distribution among middle-class folks and the like. There were fewer people at risk. But I think it's a matter of my being able to communicate my position on jobs and trade and what I would do. And, you know, for example, the World Trade Organization, he loves to batter us around on we've supported the World Trade Organization, just ruled that his trade policies were illegal. Well, guess what? We went in, what, 14, 15, 16 times at the WTO, and we won every single time. Now, why should any American remember that? That was, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So part of it is reminding people and laying out for them what my plan for economic recovery is.
But if people have questions about the economic fallout from the pandemic now, you have said that you would have acted earlier. What do you say to people who might question how the economic impact could?
By the way, these questions are, you know, they're pushing him. They're pretty, you know, they're fairly tough. You know, they're not necessarily, you know, laying these softballs up for him. And I'm for it. I'm 100% for these tough questions because A, Biden can handle it, and anybody who's going to be president shouldn't have a problem with them either.
Have been different, even if you acted earlier. The social distancing and the close.
Notice he can do this without being a dick. Notice they're asking him, you know, they're pushing him on questions and why people don't, you know, respect him on certain issues or whatever. And he doesn't go, that's a nasty question or you're terrible. How can you look into that? Why would the CDC have several patents on COVID? I don't know that they have patents on COVID, but I will look it up. They may have patents on the isolated elements of the genome so that they can fight it.
Things would still be in place.
They take some viruses and use them as delivery systems for things. If they find out in the future, you find that if they have a vaccine or some sort of genetic modification that people need to have to, you know, right some genetic issue that they may have, one of the ways you get it in everybody's system oftentimes is using a virus to piggyback it. They take out all the damaging parts of the virus, but the growth of the virus and the spread of the virus that it uses, which is pretty extraordinary in this particular virus, which is why it's so contagious. They can use that to get other things that you want into the system. Sometimes they'll do that. Yes. But I'll look it up.
No, not necessarily, because you wouldn't be having the high rates of
Oh, they've had patents about coronaviruses for a long time, not COVID.
Reinfection that we have now. You wouldn't be having 1,000 people a day die. You'd be able to open. We need national guidance as the basis upon which you can open up, and it varies within state to state. So you may very well be able to open up in a rural area, not a area that is a metropolitan area, or vice versa, because of the degree to which the virus is rampant in that area. We've not said anything out. We've not laid out, this administration has not laid out the criteria. There's no national criteria. What's the national criteria for opening schools? They still don't have one. You need a national criteria. And you need it to be able to be sure, excuse me, that you can open safely and securely. You can have social distancing. You can have the wearing of masks. You can have smaller classes. You need more teachers, a whole range of things. But why won't he lay out the guidance? And even when the CDC initially had stronger guidance, what happened? Talk about political manipulation. Said, no, don't put those out. Don't put those out. Because the president was then saying, by the way, testing just causes more cases to show. It's about being honest. You know, he loves to quote Churchill, and he loves to quote Roosevelt. Well, you know, Roosevelt said in a crisis in World War II, he said it's going to get worse and worse and worse till it gets better and better and better. And the one thing you have to tell the American people, they're strong. Give it to them straight from the shoulder. They can handle anything. That's what I'll do. CNN, Jessica.
They basically want to get to everybody, so they're going in order. ABC, CBS, CNN.
Mr. Vice President, you mentioned the CDC director's comments this morning about the vaccine and about masks and how critical they are. You've previously called for a mask mandate, a national mask mandate. If you were elected, what steps would you take to put that in place, and how would that work?
Well, first of all, I found it fascinating the president said, and Biden didn't put in a mask mandate. I don't know how old he is, but yeah, I'm not the president. He's the president. It's like, you know, Biden's problems in these cities are inflamed. I'm not the president. He's the president. I would call all the governors to the White House and say, and because there's a question, I think it can be answered in the positive, a question whether I can mandate over state lines that every single state has to comply. Our legal team thinks I can do that based upon the degree to which there's a crisis in those states and how bad things are for the country. And if we don't do it, what happens? But I would make the case. I'd make the case why it's necessary. I'd have the scientists to lay out in detail why. And I would go to every governor, and I'd go to governors relating to Republican and Democratic governors, and I'd say, we have to have this national mandate. We must do it. And at a minimum, what I would do, I wouldn't walk around saying masks don't matter, like he said at your town hall. I think it was last night. I saw the tail end of it. That, well, masks. People don't like masks. Matter of fact, they could be worse. And I think, don't hold me to this because I didn't see it, I just saw it reported. And Stephanopoulos asked why. And he said, because waiters don't like them. Waiters touch the food and touch the mask. I mean, come on.
But what would happen if, say, a Republican governor pushed back on you on this? How do you get buy-in when it's become so politicized? Would you sign an executive order?
Well, the question is whether I have the legal authority as president to sign an executive order. We think we do, but I can't guarantee you that yet. Okay?
But if you did, you would.
If I did, I would.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Number 5, I have to call on my hometown paper, the News Journal. Meredith?
Sir, in terms of the distribution of the virus, communities of color have been greatly affected. Would they get access to the virus first? How would that work in terms of the distribution of
the vaccine? She means vaccine. We're not trying to get the virus to. By the way, this is a reporter, young woman, makes a normal brain flub. People do it all the time. Say 1,000 when you mean million, million when you mean 1,000, virus when you mean vaccine, vaccine when you mean virus. Who cares? Again, the only reason we really jump on Trump about this is because he acts as if he doesn't.
Americans being able to get the virus?
Based on the proposal laid out by the experts I spoke with today, and the National Science Foundation is coordinating with the CDC and other agencies, they indicate that the first group of people that should get the vaccine, if and when it is available, are people at the greatest risk. And that includes everything from nursing homes to people with serious pre-existing conditions that would cause people to be in real trouble. A lot of those people happen to be black and brown, And so it would be based upon the degree of exposure. It would go first, though, I would argue, but I'd have a scientific board lay it out for me. It would go first, as laid out for me today, to first responders, doctors and nurses. the people who we're most needed to have available to deal with our crises, health as well as physical crises in our communities. That would be the first. And it would move to the least. Now, one thing that hasn't happened yet, and I don't want to, and I am not a scientist, although I hope I'm well informed on this issue. There have been no tests yet on children. So children, ironically, may be the last people to get the vaccine because it's going to take time, they indicated to me, in 2021 to be able to do the kind of testing on children. Children are less likely to die, although they can, and it's more likely that their teachers and the elderly grandparents, et cetera, would be exposed. So the first would go to the people most susceptible. But children are going to have to be part of this, but there's a lot more work that has to be done. There have been no trials done yet on children.
And today, the government released a plan on how they would, or a loose plan on how they would distribute the vaccine. If you're elected, would you reverse course on the plan that the federal government has already put in place?
No, they haven't put one in place for real yet, number one. Number two, I haven't seen the detail of it. It may be. It may be a very good plan as is. But what I would do is make sure that I brought in all of the experts to make sure what is the best and most rational means of distribution. Now look, there are two types of vaccines being worked on now. One is an RNA model that are done by two of the operations. I think Moderna and I figure
AstraZeneca. But by the way, can we just revel in a moment that Biden knows what RNA is and is actually going to discuss the nature of distribution and the production of lots of a vaccine?
Which one? Who has the other one? And the other is an adenovirus, which is a way to generate the immune system to respond. One changes the cell structure. The one that deals with the mRNA, that requires 2 injections, and it requires to be stored at 70 degrees below zero. So in addition to all this, there are mechanical issues as to how and where the vaccine, assuming, let's say the Moderna one is picked.
That's right, VR Commander.
Assuming that the vaccine is approved, it's a very, very significant, difficult problem of how you distribute that vaccine. For example, you have to ship it in bulk if it's the mRNA version. And that means thousands of 1,000 at a time kind of thing. That means it's going to go to hospitals and major medical distribution centers. It's not going to go to your doctor, and you can't show up at Walgreens like I did I didn't, my doc gave it to me, but my flu shot. But I used to get my flu shot at Walgreens. You can't do that because you can't do it in small lots. You have to have 2 shots, 2 of them. And so my generic point is there are a lot of not only what is safe to do, but distribution issues that are consequential and matter a lot.
By the way, do you think Trump is capable of explaining any of what he just said, or even understanding it?
And so it's not like, by the way, if I told you tomorrow, if I were
bits and channel stuff and whatever's and subscriptions and do that. By the way, it's September, so you can subscribe for half as much, which is lovely in September on Twitch, just saying.
The president said, we have approved the following 2 vaccines, or 1 vaccine. Well, the vaccines that are likely to be approved so far start off with a group of 10,000 doses all the way to 60,000 doses. Well, there are millions of people. It's going to take, and then you can get up to several million, but it takes time, is what I'm saying. And it has to be done fairly and well. It can't be based on your tax returns, figuratively speaking. It's got to be based on who is most vulnerable. Who is most vulnerable? Okay? Thank you all so very, very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer, for the Venmo. Woola Wednesday.
That was Democratic.
Yeah, it was. That, I mean, yeah, ribonucleic acid is not a monosyllabic word, right? That would be essentially one of the problems there. I just wanted to show that piece at the end, simply because Biden puts it together really well, understands what he's talking about. He just spoke with a group of scientists via basically a big screen Zoom meeting, and he was able to concisely communicate the vast majority of the detail when questioned about it, an hour later, and filter that thought through what his plan is. Seriously, is there a situation where Trump comes out and talks about, monosyllabic is not monosyllabic. That's so ironic, isn't it? Yeah. And I have to say that, Biden is just sounding better and better every day. And I think it's because in a lot of ways he's invigorated by having an opponent that he feels he can freely go after. And the gloves really came off with that whole suckers and losers thing, because I think even he likes to play nice with almost everybody. And like I said, his whole career has been about building bridges and being able to communicate with Republicans and Democrats and bring them together and get stuff done. It's something he prided himself on for a very long time. It's kind of an old-fashioned way of living. People might want to try it. But, it's something, by the way, that Trump is completely incapable of doing. But I think he's been invigorated by pushing back against this, this guy, against Trump specifically. Mr. Real Leader, that public town hall really hurt Trump badly, really, really bad. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. I wonder if, let's see if I just do an ABC News town hall and see if they have it on their site, maybe. They let me, I don't know. Full transcript. Maybe that'll do it. No. Find out. I'm going to start looking up something. It's getting to be one of those things where we have to do another like a separate show for it. Yeah, because I've gone long tonight. So let me try and find that, because we'll go through the whole thing. But quite frankly, just the fact that he farted, no pun intended, blew a hole in my schedule. So, and I'm gonna go make a bunch of those. But can we grab all those clips, Can't Stop Lying? I think we need 4 of them. Because holy God. I made clips of them. I hit clip where they were, so it should be fairly easy. Oh God. All right, but one. We'll do one taste of the ABC Town Hall. Like I said, I couldn't find the whole thing, so let's just grab one piece of it.
Anna, Paul, take it away.
Hi, Paul.
Oh, Mr. President.
This is a good example. I think this guy's a Republican.
I voted for you in 2016. I'm conservative, pro-life, and diabetic. I've had to dodge people who don't care about social distancing and wearing face masks. I thought you were doing a good job with the pandemic response until about May 1st. Then you took your foot off the gas pedal. Why did you throw vulnerable people like me under the bus?
Well, we really didn't, Paul. We've worked very hard on the pandemic. We've worked very hard. It came off from China. They should have never let it happen.
Yeah, I'm sure he hasn't heard that line before.
And if you look at what we've done with ventilators and now, frankly, with vaccines, we're very close to having a vaccine.
Level 3 emotes, get out of town.
If you want to know the truth, the previous administration would have taken perhaps years to have a vaccine because of the
No, they wouldn't have.
FDA and all the approvals. And we're within
the things that make them safe.
Weeks of getting it. Could be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but we think we have a Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer. We have great companies, and they're
Pfizer.
Very, very close. It's been it's a terrible thing. But if you look at, as an example, are you from New York? Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from New York. I've lived in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for 18 and a half years.
He's a Pennsylvania voter.
Longest place I've ever lived.
Well, that's very good. It's a good place. But actually, if you look at what we've done for various things, we built hospitals. New York, we took the convention center, converted it to 2,800 rooms. We brought in the...
No. Those aren't rooms. There's curtains between beds. Simmer down.
I wish they would have used it because, frankly, they would have saved a lot.
No. If they'd have used it, people would have gotten sicker. They recognized that the contagion aspect of it was better if people that didn't need ventilation convalesced at home and isolated there. It wasn't like tuberculosis.
People had they used
or Ebola.
But we really are. We're starting to get very good marks. If you look at what we've done compared to other countries.
Not from that dude, you're not, and he voted for you.
With the excess mortality rate, we've done very, very well. When you see...
We're behind Iraq.
Our testing, we're going to be at 84 million tests, 84 million, think of that. And next would be India with about 50 million less. Our testing program's far greater. I brought this along today because...
Oh, good, he brought props.
I think it's...
Oh my God, please don't, like, at this point, I feel like it's even wrong of me to even...
Something that's really very special. We have a new test. It came out literally today.
Oh, the cardboard test.
That's just showing you numbers of how well we're doing
Do you have the little two pieces of cardboard?
to other countries. But this is actually a new test. Just came out from Abbott. Highly sophisticated. You wouldn't think. It's a piece of really little light cardboard. And this came out, and this is a very accurate test, and people will be able to have this, and they'll be able to test or ideally go through a doctor, but it's very simple and very accurate. And we supply...
How does it work? What are you talking about? Don't tell me about a little piece of cardboard. What are you talking about?
Governors, including this state, with equipment like nobody's ever gotten. We were short on ventilators because the
cupboards were bare.
Cupboards were bare.
Jesus Christ. No, they weren't. And if they were, even if I was to give you that, you left them that way for 3.5 years. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? See what I'm saying? If the cupboards were bare, you didn't mind until it was too late.
When we took it over, and we're now making thousands.
Which, by the way, they weren't bare, but that's either way.
Ventilators a month, many thousands, and we're sending them. We don't need them in our country anymore.
Yeah, because they're not actually the worst outcome you could possibly have. And yeah, you could have put that effort into testing and tracking and tracing, but
not one person that needed a ventilator did.
People in New York had to share them.
Get a ventilator. Everybody.
Does he just bring the same bullshit to every market? Is that what he's doing?
A ventilator, and they're very, Paul. They're very complex. They're very hard to make. But when
yeah, they're like Yugos. They're like air conditioning units. No human being could stack books like
taking out tens of thousands a month and sending them to other countries who are in dire need of them. So I feel that we've done a tremendous job, actually, and it's something that I don't think it's been recognized like it should. But
boo. Fuckity who.
When you look at our testing, when you look at our swabs, when you look at our ventilators, when you look at what we've...
You mean the swabs that we don't have enough of still? And when you went to that factory, you didn't wear a mask and you touched everything, so they had to throw out everything they'd made that day?
With hospitals, and we've made a lot of governors look very good, and now some are in a shutdown and some aren't. We'd like to see it open up and open up as soon as possible. But we're very proud of the job we've done.
Is this just, are these words supposed to form some sort of singular idea?
And we've saved a lot of lives, a tremendous number of lives.
Mr. President,
so the guy who asked the question really should have thanked Trump? Oh yeah, I don't
mentioned
know why
a number
he
of things.
didn't.
Let's talk about the mortality first, because you said we're doing better in mortality than other countries.
Yeah.
But here's this chart right here. It shows the United States is right here. This is number of deaths per million residents. Here's Western Europe here, Canada, way down there. We're not at the top of the list.
The excess mortality rate is among the best in the whole world, George. I mean, I can show you. There's a...
Oh, Jesus. So the reason he likes this chart, oh my God. And he says this, remember when I called this out a while back, guys? And he started skipping the detail, which is excess mortality in a non-pandemic year. So because America has a lot more gun deaths and a bunch of other shit, when they took that measure in Europe versus here, if you take out all of our car accidents and drunk driving and gun-related deaths, then percentage-wise, they're like 30% higher than they would be compared to the U.S. during a non-pandemic year where we weren't all locked down. A non-pandemic year. So that excess death he's talking about, out of that weird puss, has to do with the fact that we have a shit ton more deaths from, gun-related deaths, more medical bad interactions. 100,000 people die a year from getting the wrong treatment or the wrong drugs in a hospital or at a doctor's office or overprescription, opioid deaths, all those kind of things. When we shut down, a lot of that stuff slowed down to its lowest point because people weren't having car accidents, people weren't going to the emergency room, they weren't getting insulin when they weren't supposed to, they weren't shooting each other. So it got really low, and Europe's COVID deaths, because of Italy and a couple other places, jacked them up higher in comparison to the deaths. Now, did they overtake us? Are there more? No. No, there are not. But 30% higher in a non-pandemic year. He says this all the time, and then he stopped saying the non-pandemic year part.
That just came out a little while ago. Excess mortality rate is compared to Europe, compared to other places, it's about 25% better. In one case, it's over 60% better. And we also have a very big country. We're talking about a lot bigger than most countries.
Yeah, like Bahrain, UAE, and Israel have half the population of California combined.
When you look at testing, just as an example, when India does 40 million less tests than us, they have 1.5 billion people. China,
yeah, huge swaths of incredibly impoverished areas.
Don't get the accurate numbers out of China, but China, they lost a lot of people. They just don't say what they lost.
We have 4% of the world's population, more than 20% of the cases, more than 20% of the deaths.
Well, we have 20% of the cases because of the fact that we do much more testing. If we wouldn't.
So if we stopped looking at these dead people, they wouldn't be dead anymore. Stop staring grandma to death.
Do testing, you wouldn't have cases. You would have very few cases.
As you know, Dr. Fauci says that's not true. These are actual cases.
Well, Dr. Fauci said we've done a fantastic job. He just said it yesterday, actually. He said we've done a fantastic job.
He also said you have a negative attention span.
We didn't mislead anybody. Now, I'm not going
to... Yeah, he didn't say that.
Make people feel like I want to look... We're the leader of a great country. We want to keep it that way. Yeah. I don't want to scare people. I don't want to make people panic. And
is that your only option? Are you that dumb?
Going to go out and say, oh, this is death, death, death. You have to run a country. We're in a country. We got hit by something very unfairly. But I know.
Yeah, what? I mean, remember when Winston Churchill came out and went death, death, death? What is the option here? Did the Obama-Biden administration during H1N1 or Ebola run around screaming, going death, death, death?
Where yesterday Dr. Fauci said that we've done a really good job and we didn't mislead anybody. He came out.
Really?
That statement, which I appreciate. But whether it's Dr. Fauci or anybody else, a lot of people got it wrong. They talked about don't wear masks, and now they say wear masks, although some people say don't wear masks. I mean, you have a lot of different...
Who are these idiots? Seriously.
Different ideas. Some people say just leave it the way it is and don't do any shutdowns, and other people say do shutdowns. And
yeah, who are these people in your administration? Who are they? Name them. Because they are maniacs and they need to be removed.
I have my own views on that.
But what did you get wrong? You say a lot of people got things wrong. I mean, you mentioned China at the top right there. All through January and February, you were downplaying by your own admission the severity of the crisis, that you didn't want to panic people.
Not downplaying.
But let me just finish the question first.
Not downplaying. I don't want to drive our nation into a panic. I'm a cheerleader for this nation. I'm One that closed up our country. I closed it up long before any of the experts thought I should, and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. But when I closed it, I put a ban on our country, and the ban was a very important ban because China was heavily.
I want to ask you about
a
China.
ban on our country. So Trump put a travel ban on America.
It was heavily infected, and nobody. By the way, I read where other people said do it. No people that I saw said do it, and I know they said security advisors and others. I put a ban on when it wasn't at all popular. Joe Biden said I was xenophobic because I put the ban on.
No, he was saying you're xenophobic because you are xenophobic.
And I thought that was a very unfair, and by the way, he's totally taken that back.
No, he hasn't.
But I'm not sure he knows what it means.
I want to ask you about China, though, because at that time you.
Yeah, he knows what xenophobic means. You don't. Please explain xenophobia. George, ask him what xenophobia is.
Actually praising President Xi. You were saying he was transparent. You were saying he was strong. You were saying he was doing a good job. Did you get that wrong? Did you misjudge President Xi?
You like the cut of his jib?
We just finished a trade deal. We just had the largest order.
The ink wasn't even dry, and then they dropped a bioweapon on you, apparently.
Of corn in the history of our country last week. The largest order of soybeans, largest order of beef.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then who gives a shit if they kill 200,000 of our people?
Because they know I'm very.
We sold them a bunch of corn, soybeans, and beef, guys.
Unhappy.
It's almost like they're buying all of our foodstuffs.
They know.
But you said he was doing.
When people are hungry over here, one would think that.
Good job, and now you're blaming China.
No, I didn't say one way or the other. I'm not saying one way or the other. At the beginning, before.
Why would you?
Everybody knew what it was. I spoke with President Xi, and he said, we are doing it well. We are having it under control. And I was very open with that. He told me that it was under control, that everything.
And I bought it. I mean, honestly.
And it turned out to be not true.
Right. So you continued to work on your trade deal with him because they are trustworthy and will keep their side of a bargain?
Because it wasn't under control. It went all over the world, 188 countries. So I didn't say anything bad about President Xi initially because nobody knew much about the disease. Nobody knew the seniors are susceptible. They thought.
The Chinese knew. They knew. The Chinese knew. And they posted the genome for it in January.
People would be susceptible, but not just, the seniors are really a very, very endangered group of people.
Yeah, we're thinking of putting, at least a few of them in zoos just in case we need to repopulate the old people.
Especially if they have problems with hearts or diabetes or any of that.
Oh, God, that was loud. Yeah, they're doing all these clips. Thanks, George. Jesus. I think we've figured out a way to make the video smoother, though. That helped a lot. That was a lesson today. Caused largely, technology advances for the strangest reasons. And today it was because the president farted on national television. So, yeah, I'm going to go make a bunch of clips of that and put them all over the internet. I already posted one on Twitter. So if you want to go share it, I'd greatly appreciate it. Send it to all your friends and, of course, to every media outlet, because nobody else spotted it. That's me, Hal Sparks. Fart spotter. It's all right. It's a living. Oh, God. All right. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a wonderful evening. You guys are fantastic. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so it will be an hour later. It'll be at 4 o'clock Pacific time. But I will see you nonetheless, and I'll try and not keep you all evening. There's so much stuff. Good God. Anyways, I adore you guys. I'll see you later. Have a good night. You're wonderful. Okay. And don't forget, you can subscribe. You can help out with the Venmo. If you want to do that, just point your phone at it and donate just $1. Whatever. Just buy me a cup of coffee. Whatever you think that laugh was worth today that you can afford because we know it's priceless, send that. Or you can go to paypal.me/HalSparks, or you can become a patron, or you can Twitch subscribe. It's September. Or you could just watch for free, chill out, and just give me the gift of knowing that I may have protected your mental health for at least 24 hours. That little gift in and of itself is wonderful. It's enough just to be of service, really. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. I've got theme music. It's coming. Hang out. It's coming. It's on its way. There we go.
That was really cool, by the way.
You stay classy, San Diego.
Yosemite, wildlife refuges. I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. Michigan gave us Motown, gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. Michigan gave us Motown, gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Soup for my family. Soup for my family. Soup for my family.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
To be a moron, to be Morocco, an imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Did have shade.
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Beef jerky? Oh, no, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm farting.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil.
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the Force, you nap.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
He has name!
It's good to be the king.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
I'm a land farmer, motherfucker!
Leon's getting larger. It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Man,
man's got to know his limitations.
That's great psychology. Why don't you just say something bad about my mother?
The sand was loaded up with blood. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it.